All right, this is Late Night at the Movies, episode 5, The Shining. All right, a little bit of Shining music there for you guys.
There you go. What's going on?
Not bad. How you doing? Sorry for a few minutes late here, guys, and for the change of time from 8 to 8:30, but had a very special call here with a buddy of mine. It was his birthday today, so I wanted to have a chat with him quickly before we actually started the show here tonight. So we had to change the time, and of course, there's always sometimes some technical difficulties getting set up. So, but we're here. We're here. Only 5 minutes later than we said we would be. So, not bad. Hey, what's going on, Richard? Hey, all right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is, of course, Late Night at the Movies. This is our movie review show.
This is the interesting and fun one. Interesting and fun one sometimes. Sorry.
Little bit of throat clearing over there, Jay. You need some water?
I just had gone for a smoke before this, so I got my sexy voice on now.
There you go. Yeah.
No?
His voice is very raspy for you guys. That's apparently his sexy voice.
That's the sexy voice. What's up, Joe?
So yeah, we're what's going on, Joe? So this is our movie review show. We'll tell you guys at the end of this episode what our next movie review will be. We do these about once a month. The date is to be determined always, but we will talk about it on our regular weekly shows, the Late Night Chat show on Mondays, and post about it on our social medias. If you are not subscribed to our channel, just do us a favor and help us out and subscribe to our channel, or let a friend know if you enjoy these shows. Let us know what you think of these movie review shows, because we're still kind of early in doing them. If you want us to have any suggestions about the format or the categories that we discuss, feel free to shoot us your comments. What kind of battle is this? There you go. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is the battle where we just discuss a film and try to outsmart one another, apparently.
Apparently we outsmarted you, though.
Yeah. So let us know, because this is still a new show for us, and
it's fucking hard. It's not easy. It's homework.
There is homework involved. Yeah, absolutely. But it's fun. It's fun revisiting these films and getting a chance to talk about them with you guys. Hey, finally, The Shining. What's going on, Mian?
Finally, it shows
Am I saying that correctly? Mian? Is it Mihan?
I don't know. Ask her. You see what happens.
Apparently, it's not Megan, I was told many episodes ago.
Yeah, she told you, remember?
Okay, so it being October, it being Halloween, I'm sure all you guys, at least hopefully most of you, have watched the movie The Shining before, or you've maybe watched it for the first time in preparation for our show here today. We encourage people to check out the movies that we're going to be discussing before joining us in the chats, so you can, discuss it with us. And please feel free throughout, while we're discussing the categories, to throw out your own answers for some of the categories as well. We'll kind of probably talk through them as you throw them up, and then address them at the end of each category, because me and Jay, we got to look at these notes, we got to get these thoughts out as we go along here, right? Because this is what it's all about here, right?
This is the fun part, because you've watched the movie a million times and you still got to fucking write notes down about it, because it's like, fucking guys.
Oh, I said it. There you go. I said it correctly.
Oh,
thank you.
Look at that.
And so it's spooky month. Let's discuss The Shining here. A classic to many, to some. I've heard people consider it not a good movie, right? Because they maybe don't see the interesting part about it.
No, JT, there you go. Well, I am John, right? So figure that out. That works so perfectly.
But we'll get into some of the aspects that some people maybe possibly don't like about this film as well as we discuss it. But without further ado, Jay, if you want to start us off, we normally give you guys an idea of our history with this film. These are we try to always pick movies that we've already watched before in the past, and this is basically us just rewatching them, revisiting them, maybe with a new set of eyes, right, years later. So Jay, what's your history with this film?
I've watched this because I just like watching this stuff with Jack Nicholson and stuff
Yeah.
stuff that has to do with Stephen King. But I don't really have like like history. I've watched it maybe 4 or 5 times, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm having issues with just figuring it all out. There's a lot to absorb in that movie, regardless of how little is said. There's not much said, but I mean there is a lot that's absorbed. There's a lot of scenes. There's a lot of different things going on.
And a lot of interesting things about the
Innuendos.
film itself and the director and the stories behind the
Yeah,
movie and
which
everything else. Where I think
I didn't get into as much because it's fucking. That's actually reading and working. That's a little bit harder for me.
Right.
You know, this I can watch and jot down and stuff like that. But you get where I'm going with
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, I've seen this movie a long time ago. I mentioned on the show the other day, it's probably my favorite of Stanley Kubrick's films that I've seen, other than like Clockwork Orange. I really enjoy this one.
I never seen that clock. That
that would have been creepy.
would have if we came on scene like that, dude.
Those girls are one of the creepiest things about this film, man. I don't really like that. That's
When I was a kid, it creeped me out. I don't
Right.
know about right now, but
yeah, but it's still kind of messed up. It's still, yeah, that would have been awesome. I agree. But tune in this Friday, guys, because we do have a battle, which we'll promote at the end of this episode as well. A 3-way battle between Max, me, and JT here. Max, who's in the chat here tonight.
it won't be all rap. Don't worry. It's gonna be some.
It's going to
great
be a
music.
variety of different type of music. Yeah, exactly.
Except,
It's a producer battle. 3 different producers who's made lots of different types of music. So definitely check that out this Friday.
Yeah.
And maybe some of us will be dressed up. We'll see. I don't know about these guys.
That's one of the artists.
I'm gonna come in with my Pharrell hat. It's gonna take up the whole screen.
I got one already. Look. I have one already. I'm
Yeah.
good. She's gonna paint it.
Yeah, so I watched this movie a long time ago. It's still one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite kind of horror movies too. But I think, like I mentioned, I found the most interesting things about the film, or some of the stories I've heard, in the past few years while revisiting the film, like the stories that revolve around the film, stuff I didn't know when I was younger because I didn't really care enough to look into it, because you don't really care about the stories about directors and this and that, right? You know what I mean? Back then, and
Yeah, exactly. You're not paying attention.
and now that's actually the thing that's a little bit more interesting to me, right? Is some of the stories that go into it. Hey, Rhea, what's going on? Yes. Yeah, no, we're here. We're just a few minutes late, actually, so it's not too bad.
No.
Okay, so I guess without further ado, though, let's get into it. Yeah, so that's again, I don't remember when I first saw it, probably when I was a teenager, right? So and I've I've watched it probably several times at this point in my life, right? Like every Halloween, probably.
But then you don't really watch it in the whole 2-hour span. You really tend to watch it off and on. That's what happens,
Right. Yeah, to sit here and actually analyze it and write notes and actually put some thought into some of these categories and stuff, it's always a different experience, right, than watching it just sitting down and getting to enjoy it. Well, that's why it's I like how you end up watching the movie 2 or 3 times when we do this show by the time you actually write your notes, right? I'm
still lost. Like I basically write down scene for scene so I can remember what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Right. Just because.
No, but that's better to take it in, just view it first and then take the notes and watch it a second time. I think that's maybe I'll start doing that as well. It's just sometimes we're so, we leave it. It's to the last week. Yeah, exactly. So anyways.
And we left it to the last week where we have like the hardest week going on, which is not
3 shows happening this week. Yeah. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the categories here. We always post the categories on our social media accounts if you guys want to join in on the fun and actually give us your own answers as we go. But like I said, we'll kind of address your comments at the end of each kind of discussion of the categories here when we find the chance to here. So what do you think of this film overall, though, before we get into it? Like, what, you still enjoy it at this point after watching it so many times? Like, is it
it's still psychologically fucked up. I'll tell you that much. But I mean, to be honest, it's not as. I mean, the thing I think is that if they would have done it now, if they did a remake and something like that, and I know you said they've done other stuff like Doctor Sleep and this and that, but if they would have done an actual remake of that movie or something, they could have played it out probably a lot more like the book, as I've heard. But I mean,
right. Stephen King famously hates this film because this is not really a representation of the story. It's very loosely based on what Stephen King's.
I don't know. Have you read the book?
I haven't, but from what I've heard, and I've heard of a lot of the big differences. So I can't speak from an experience of reading it because I've never really been a big Stephen King reader, to be honest with you. I enjoy his movies and TV shows and stuff like that, but I've never, despite all the reading I've done in the past, I've never read his stuff for whatever reason. I don't know why. I was more into like sci-fi and like fantasy and stuff like that. And I'm not as much into reading about horror back then for whatever reason, but I like the genre. Like obviously, you know that. Like we talk about it a lot, right?
Horror is awesome. There's not a lot of people that do. I mean, you'll see actually grown-ups in here this time because you know, all my boyfriends are that sounded weird. All the guy friends I have, besides the guys in the chat,
are scared of watching these scary movies.
And this is not even that scary. I mean,
all Jay's boyfriends.
Yeah, all my boyfriends, guys. Oh, making me sweat.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, there's a lot of people that I never got to watch horror movies with when I was growing up. So I'd have to watch them alone. So I mean, it's nothing new to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all fake anyways. It's all fun.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into the categories though. And to answer my own question, I still enjoy the film quite a bit.
Yeah.
I still like it a lot. And every time I rewatch it, I find something new kind of about it because you can analyze the hell out of this film. Right? It just seems like there's not a lot there, but there kind of is because you know, as we get into it,
when that's what I mean. When you're doing a review, that's when you really sit there to fucking sit there and try to analyze it. And I think we overanalyze it too much or something. It gets a little too crazy. I got 4 pages of fucking notes here that I gotta, and it looks like chicken scratch, like you. So.
I would say Jack Nicholson, because Jack Nicholson's a recovering alcoholic, so he's trying to keep off the wagon. I don't know if I'd go crazy and try to kill my family if I was Jack Nicholson. I don't think I would do that.
You'd come after me or something like that.
Oh yeah, you'd be first on my list here. Yeah,
makes Nico fucking crazy.
All podcasting and no.
Yeah, no shit, no play. So
okay, so let's start off with favorite scenes. Man, there's a lot I got written down here for this one. I mean, I don't think we need to go into the plot for this film for you guys, really, right? I mean, loosely, like I mean, we can quickly go into it. Jack Nicholson's character, Jack Torrance, he ends up taking a job from November to May or something like that throughout the winter season at a hotel. And you know, there's
weird how they do that. They don't have a hotel in the middle of nowhere that's open,
and he's puzzled by the fact that they don't, since there's all these great winter sports around that they try to, the manager makes up a thing about how it's not feasible, like how much money they would have to maintain the place for them to actually run it throughout the winter, so they shut it down instead. So he takes his family there, and he's an ex-teacher. He used to be a teacher, and now he's a writer. And I guess he's trying to write it's his first book, I think, right? He's having he's experiencing writer's block. Yeah. And he takes his family to this hotel that's abandoned for the winter, and he's going to be like the custodian, like the caretaker, basically, of the place, and help you know, fix things and do the, you know, all these kind of, you know, keep everything running, and his family's able to live there while he takes this weird job, right? So it's kind of a weird thing right off the bat. It's a weird you know what I mean? Like we
almost a weird start, like, okay,
yeah,
here you go. You guys have a key to this huge fucking place, all winter long, but there's a story behind it.
Yeah,
exactly, right.
And as you get into it, you go from there,
right?
But that's basically the initial premise of the film. And then, you know, there's something up with his son Danny, hence the name The Shining. He has some sort of like power, some ability, basically, like
I got The Shining.
Yeah. But it has a lot to do with Stephen King. Him having, I guess, like when he wrote it, it was more about him being a recovering alcoholic and having writer's block, and like the I guess the hard part about being but that's Stephen King's known to have written about writers a lot, right? Like Misery and like absolutely, he puts a lot of himself into his work. And
is that him? Is that really okay? It's coming out of his head.
Yeah.
Maybe if he doesn't put it on paper, that's what he was going to do. Take his family to the middle of nowhere.
And it's based on, from some of the stuff I looked online when I was reading up on some of the facts about the film, it's actually based on a place that he had visited and as a writer, and I guess experienced. I'll look it up throughout the film when we get into the categories here, but there's a place that it's actually based on that Stephen King had went, that he based the book on. It's not the hotel that's in this film, but which is something you can go visit now. You can actually go and stay there. It's like a tourist thing now. That is actually,
that hotel?
Yes.
Well,
yes, that's an actual place you can go and stay. And
that's probably all year round now too. I wonder.
Right.
Will they let you stay there?
You guys talking about his head, man.
you guys want which one? I'm going to show you. I'll show you.
Yeah, that finger thing right there. Yeah.
Oh, Lewis was scared. I think he was, but You know, because I
Red
think he was
rum.
one of those guys that you can watch a horror movie
Yeah.
with, isn't he?
He's a big puss. Yeah. Come on, you can say it.
Uh,
He'll be the first to admit it.
I
Go
know,
ahead,
yeah, I
Lewis.
know. Lewis, you're a big pussy, buddy, but it's okay. We still love you, man. Not much respect over here at
Yes.
the Late Night Chat.
Yeah, so there you go. Joseph basically, he's right, and I'm guessing he's maybe read it if that's high
for
praise
sure,
from
probably.
Joseph.
I'm pretty sure he's read it.
Okay, so go ahead if you want to start us off with your favorite scenes of the film. Which stuff stood out to you this time around?
You know what? There's one in the beginning with when you get introduced to Tony, right?
Yes.
And he starts talking
his
to
imaginary friend,
his imaginary friend, but he's that's the scene that kind of still sticks out to me. It's maybe not one of my favorite scenes, but it sticks out to me kind of emotionally, honestly, on a different level, because not that I sit there and I fucking talk to my finger, but the stuff that the doctor afterwards talked to him about and all those questions and stuff, like how he just woke up on the floor and stuff like that. It's happened to me, obviously. And once you get into that kind of stuff, I mean, but you get it. I mean, I deal with epilepsy, and sometimes it's happened where I've just landed on the floor and I didn't know where I was.
So you related to that scene.
I kind of related to that. I mean, not to say that was me, you know, but I mean, throughout the movie in certain scenes, you see that, and it's kind of freaky because, I mean, he's only a kid, right? It is kind of freaky at that part, and that kind of stuck with me this time. That really did stick with me, and I don't know why that stuck with me more than, let's say, you know, the end scene or something like that, right? But it did, and I figured I had to take a little while to think about it. But that's what it was, that I think.
It's interesting you say that because, like you, that scene stuck out to me this time around, but for a completely different reason than yourself. I never realized that you actually, and I've watched this film, I must have forgotten how many times now. I didn't realize that they identified the fact that he had that imaginary friend and all that he was talking to before they go to the actual hotel. I didn't notice that. And then this time watching around, I was just like, oh yeah, I guess they did talk about it before you get there. Cause I always thought that was something that developed, it developed more while they were there, obviously.
But that was a big part of the movie, because
the whole red rum and all that. But he warns them not to go. That's what I mean. Like, it's you're right. It is such a big part, but
because they're going to be stuck out there, bro. What happens?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the reason why they warned them out there is they warned them not to go out there. The doctor, you're saying, right? Was saying, or no?
Well, no, his imaginary friend Tony. He warned him. He warned him not to go out there.
He was telling him that, and he was giving him visuals, and that's comes into another question, that I have here. One of the other topics that we have.
Well, I had it in my other comments that I never realized that really until this viewing of it, or I had and I forgot it. And I just felt like you said it was a very important part of the film even before they actually get there. Right, like it stood out to me. Like it was like, I'm like, oh, interesting.
He was already having the visions, but nobody decided to talk to him and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know. So that one kind of stood out to me. But there was a few. There was even when what's his name, the black guy, the caretaker, Holloway, or what's his name, Dick.
Yeah.
He
Scatman.
Scatman there. He
Halloran.
Halloran.
Yeah.
He had that little conversation with Danny when they first got there and they were going around.
Yes,
that scene stuck out to me too.
Yeah, it's a good scene,
right? I mean, the other ones, okay, we can get into like crazy.
He kind of takes him aside and tells him about The Shining and all that.
He knows him and he talks to him about that whole, and that plays into that first part. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that kind of plays into that first part. So that one kind of stuck out to me too, which was really, really interesting. And I mean, not so much. Yeah, we can get into like crazy. I want to hear what you have to say as for scenes, because I mean, I could start talking about a bunch of crazy scenes in that movie, right? I would like to see if you have stuff that's a little different.
I mean, not really, because like you said, like the film itself, like on the surface, there's, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not going to say it's basic, because there's a lot there. There's a lot to kind of observe. There's a lot to dissect and talk about and all that. But if you're going to go scene for scene, obviously, you're just going to mention a lot of like the scarier parts of the film, maybe towards the end. That was a good one that you mentioned. The one that even stood out to me, and again, like this is one of my other comments, is how in 2020, this film feels very of this year because of like the insanity of being inside all the time. Like
it does. It gives you that sense of like, oh my god, can this happen?
One of my favorite
6 months.
scenes is we joked about it on the show before about how at the start of the quarantine stuff we were having a little bit of the Shining moments, right? People were like, oh no, I have to stay inside with my families. You know what I mean? I can't escape, you know. And then there was the whole the scene that I really like, and again I really loved seeing this time with that, taking that into context as well, is the first time that they go out and they start playing in the snow, him and his wife Danny and Shelley Duvall's character, what's her name, Wendy. They start going out and playing in the snow, and then he's just observing them from like the window. It's the first time you can see that he's kind of losing it. Like he's starting to, because this is already a month into it. That was another thing too that I didn't realize. Like they get there and then they jump forward a month. Right, it's not right away. Like, it's like a month later.
Everything had that. So that's another one.
So you got to remember, he's already a month into this, right? Yeah. Everything that starts happening at that moment in time, this is a month into staying there already and doing their thing, right? Yeah. So when he actually starts to, look a little like he's going off the rails, looking at them outside of the
snow and they're playing.
That scene really, I really liked that scene this time. Yeah.
On that, because I tried following it a little differently this time. I tried not to go too crazy with scene by scene. I tried to do it at a different perspective. I tried to do by the days of the week that they were using to try to follow the timeline and how long it took. Yeah. But I have something about that too.
And then, the other one that I got here that I really enjoyed is just the scene of him going through the hallways on that big wheel bike. That like Danny seeing him go around the hallways, obviously running into the little girls and all that, but just like the whole design of like the carpet. You know what I mean? Like the whole, like the hotel itself, everything that they designed for this film, which they did, they made all this stuff. Like,
I think that was part of the hotel, though. I mean, it was a beautiful place.
But a lot of this stuff, like they actually created for the film, like the hedge maze and they created.
Apparently that wasn't in the book, right?
No, it was hedge like monsters or something. That's like what I'm saying.
Maybe
like
nowadays they can redo something like that.
And the film, he didn't think it was feasible. Like it wasn't. He didn't think they were able to do something like that in the film back then. So they created the hedge maze instead.
A lot harder.
Well, the fucking hedge maze is huge though. Like that in itself. And apparently they built it with styrofoam and something else. I was reading up on the notes. Like they had to create that. Like. There's like sketches of the hotel, like how he created certain like the hotel doesn't work on paper, like the way that they're winding through the hotel at the start of it. And by the way, what's the room two? Is it 237? Yeah. So room 237, I ended up rewatching the documentary again prior to recording today. And some of the things that they reference in there are ridiculous, like ridiculous, like theories. Some of them are really cool. Some of them you could see that were actually, but some of them are like, that's a bit of a stretch, right? In that film. If you haven't watched it, it's room 237. I saw it on YouTube. I couldn't find it. It's no longer on Netflix, it looks like. So I just watched it on YouTube. But they talk about that, how like the hotel doesn't even make sense. Like the way it's set up, like the way he was trying to like disorient the viewer in a way, the way he was everything.
The way the bike when he was riding through it, or even the way they would walk through it.
Not just that, just like certain rooms, like the manager, when he meets the manager at the start of the film, and he's introducing himself, there's like sunlight coming in through the window, like beaming into that room. And apparently, like if you looked at like how the hotel is set up, like there would be no way that sun would be shining in that from that direction through that. That's what I mean. Like it just didn't make sense, like the setup of the actual hotel.
I said it's getting everybody going. No, but I'm just saying, like it was a beautiful part. I just didn't know whether or not it like that's what I was saying. There was a hedge it's a hedge maze because you started getting into it, and I thought that was pretty neat too, with the little bit of even the little miniature one they had set up there. It's probably architecturally how they did build it, right? And you see that little person sitting in the middle. And Joseph wants to give away the spoilers.
Yeah, apparently he wanted to give some spoilers up in the chat here for somebody. I don't think everybody wants to.
They want to read the book, maybe.
Well, I don't know if Joseph, what he's referring to is between the relationship with the father and the son, because that's the other thing they said that they touch on in this at the start briefly too, is the fact about how there's abuse there and he's beat up his son. But then there's also the whole, the whole thing that people said that there's a sexual kind of thing possibly there too, which I think they even reference in the new Dr. Sleep one possibly too, don't they?
That
like
that he was kind of molested.
Well, that's something like a theme, I guess, that I don't know if that's in the book, Joseph, if that's what you meant, if you wanted to throw that out there, but there was a little bit of an undertone of possibly that he was sexually abused as on top of being like abused, because he talks about hurting the boy. Like the wife talks about how he hurt the kid.
Yeah.
And he refers to it again in the bar scene when he got really drunk, or maybe I don't know, who the hell knows, right? If he was actually drinking something there,
no,
right?
That was kind of funny
fake,
too,
yeah. but yeah, there's a bit of that apparently. They said like in the I don't know if it's in the book or just the film. Maybe that's why he didn't like it, right? Stephen King. There's a few reasons why I didn't like it, as we'll get into as we go. But yeah, and I don't know, any other scenes that you really stuck out to you this time around? I haven't said my favorite yet. I was about to say that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite out of all the scenes in this movie. Like rewatching it today, I found that the most entertaining, because you really get to see Jack Nicholson kind of
let's play himself.
Yes,
he's really just playing himself,
as he's like as he's descending into madness, chopping it up with his bartender that's not even really there, right? He's just like when we get into quotes, like his whole conversation that he has during the bar scene is the best, man. Yes. That's one of the theories, Max, that they talk about in room 237 is that he has the Apollo 1 on his shirt, and then there's also there's Tang in the room, when they go into the room with all the food and stuff, like the storeroom, there's Tang on the shelf, and Tang obviously was something, the astronauts famously, right? So there's a lot of imagery, a lot of stuff in that. It's imagery room, that and subliminal messaging, which is what room 237, the documentary, talked about. Because apparently Kubrick, and you'd appreciate this because I know you always talk about this stuff. Apparently he, back before he made this film, he read a book that had to do with advertising, like a subliminal messaging and advertising. And then apparently he went as far to research it and actually ask this is what they claimed in that documentary, like actually speak to advertisers and see kind of what it's about and how they do it. And that was prior to making this film. So I think a lot of what people put into the imagery that's represented in this film and a lot of the actual subliminal messaging that's happening is a result of maybe him having an interest in that, like actually reading a book on it and being really interested how people can actually put little things in the background and actually influence people's thoughts or like comment on things.
Stuff like that gets into your head, and you don't realize it until it's actually pointed out to you. But it changes a lot of the way everything functions, right? So but I mean that was a great scene. I mean, I don't know if it probably has one of my favorite quotes in that scene when you first walk in and met the bartender too. So if you want to lead into that one, or you want to save that one, which one do you want to get into? Because you got his favorite scene. So
I'll just go through my last couple, but the bar scene is my favorite. I don't know what's yours. Would you say
that was my favorite?
Yeah. The bar scene.
Well, the bar scene by far was the favorite when they're interested in talking to each other. Yeah, but I told you which one touched more, like which one got to me more was that whole Danny scene, and actually kind of watching Danny through the whole movie instead of watching, everything else, kind of focusing on that story too, because that one kind of got to me. I don't know why this time out of the last few times.
That's a good move. That's what makes it a good film, though, right? Every time you revisit it, you might notice something new or something different, right? That's why I enjoy doing these shows. I wrote down, of course, the old dead woman scene, because that's just gross. That scene still to me, like that's something that still kind of freaks me out of it after watching it so many times. It's just disgusting. But he starts making out with her, and he's just like you see like those huge wounds on her back, right? I was just like, oh, that's disgusting, man.
That was kind of freaky. I don't know Like, what kind of person? I mean, you know that they actually did pretty good graphics for that. I mean, think about
Sure.
it. It was 1980.
Yeah.
So it was before both of us were born.
Yeah. And then also, yeah, and then basically the other one is the reveal of him typing the all work and no play make Jack a dull boy, which led right into basically, the red rum axe scene, hedge maze chase, the whole last 20 or whatever, 25 minutes of the film, like that whole scene when he basically loses it and goes after the family, that whole chunk, it would be the other obviously great part of the film. Like that whole second half of the movie, once he actually goes crazy, like that's obviously the best part of the film, because up to that point it's very quiet and it's just building and kind of, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of wondering when the other shoe is going to drop, and then once that happens, it's off to the races, right? So I really, obviously that's I'm not going to go through every single spot in that part, because it's literally like the last 20-25 minutes of the film, right?
Exactly. And then it kind of drags on to that last half, even the last like 15 minutes of the film, to be honest with you. It actually kind of just drags, which I thought was kind of weird. Right?
Yeah, but even the ending, like when they pan out and you see Jack Nicholson in the photo, like the old photo of the hotel, like that's an excellent ending. And Lewis, yes, I absolutely love the Simpsons Halloween parody of this.
We're not talking about the Simpsons here, bro. We're talking about The Shining, not The Shitting.
I'm just saying it is one of the better Simpson episodes.
Oh, thank you. I forgot those in your kitchen.
Oh wow, look at this guy! This fucking special delivery here. I didn't know Tim Hortons delivered to my place.
Sorry, I forgot him in the kitchen, man.
Anyways, yeah. So you want to get into the next category though? How about you guys? Let us know your favorite scenes here. If there's anything we didn't.
We're talking all
touch on.
Come on, get us excited in the chat here. Not about all your little stories over here and Danny dressed up in clothes.
Share with us your favorite scene, guys, so we can kind of highlight them as we get into the next topic here. Let us know.
They also dressed up Danny in red, white, and blue too, like the Americans.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Makes sense. I never thought about it.
No, I didn't see that one. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I actually realized I didn't notice.
It's good to have other sets of eyes on it.
Yeah,
too,
right? Even until I saw that documentary or I read more on the film, there was a lot of stuff that went right over my head. And who's to say any of that stuff's true? This is all theories, right? I don't know if Kubrick actually has confirmed a lot of those things that they talk about, right? The Timmy Zuber ghost delivery. Okay. Yeah, see, but there's some people that feel that's not the case, that there is a sexual.
Everybody has a group nowadays.
I'm actually glad that that's not the case, Joseph, in the book. If that is the case, I didn't think it was. I think you're referring to the book, but I think that was something. Oh, watch out. All I'm saying is what I've heard. All right. And so
it's I thought I heard something like that
too,
but I didn't know anything. Okay. Not a sexual theme, but parents.
But not about the book. Child. I said about the film. I said it was about the film. I didn't say it was about the book. I don't know about the book. I asked him about the book.
He said it was a little different.
Yeah. But I could see why he's getting so upset. Max. Him and his crazy Kanye theories.
Yeah.
All right. So
he thinks he's gonna be president one day.
Let's get into the next category here, though. But yeah, feel free, guys, to put up your favorite scenes when we get into it. Let's see. Favorite quotes.
All right. This one was interesting because there's a fucking shitload. I mean, dude.
You want to start us off?
Go ahead. You got some. I know you got some good ones.
Well, again, it's the whole, basically for me this time around, it was the one that stood out is everything he says at the
end?
at the bar. No, at the bar. He's like, "Hi, Lloyd. A little slow tonight, ain't it?" And he starts laughing and he looks around. There's like nobody there.
There's nobody there. That's the first day, right? Yeah, when he meets him, he turns around and all of a sudden there's fucking booze everywhere in the bar.
Lloyd's
Imagine
the best,
going to a
bro.
bar like that. There's nobody there, and all of a sudden you get a bartender and booze.
Yeah.
What the fuck, right? In the cold room.
And then he's like, "White man's burden, Lloyd, my man. White man's burden." And he's like,
"Hair? Can I get a hair?" What did he say the next time he walks in to the bar? That second time when he walks in and
hair of the dog or something. He says.
The hair of the dog that bit me or something.
Yeah. You're the best goddamn bartender from Timbuktu to Portland, Maine. Or or Portland, Oregon or something.
Yeah. Whatever it is, he's right.
Yeah.
It's Oregon. Maine, sorry.
And the Entourage fans, this guy. Yes, Lloyd. I have Entourage. I used to be anyways. I know what he's coming from, but this
I
guy's
have
trying to
no
throw me
idea.
off my game here.
I have no idea.
Lloyd is the gay assistant of Ari Gold from Entourage. There you go. There's your Entourage talk of the night. He's his assistant in the show.
Okay.
The manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Or agent, I should say. You know, and then he's like, "Oh, how's it going, sir?" Whatever, and he's like, "Oh, things could be better, Lloyd. Things could be a whole lot better."
That's it. Things could be a whole lot better.
Oh man, you know, he's like, "Oh yes, women
That's
can't
it,
live
what?
with them, can't live without them, sir." Whatever he said.
That's it. Yeah. Oh,
That whole conversation, man, it's just awesome. Like it's really just Jack Nicholson being crazy Jack Nicholson, and I love every moment of it, man.
there was a good one with what's his name, the Coulter man again. There, what's his name, the caretaker there.
Yes,
I keep
Scatman.
forgetting Scatman. I don't know why I said that.
Scatman Crothers. I always
Yeah,
thought it was
it's Carruthers,
Carruthers for some
yeah.
reason, but it's Crothers. Is
Yeah,
it
it's
pronounced that way?
different, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
It's just
Or is
everybody
it pronounced Carruthers? Because I always thought it was.
I think everybody has their own way of saying it, but
Okay, Halloran,
yeah,
you're talking about.
it's,
Yeah.
Dick Halloran.
Yeah.
That's his name. He says, what's her name? He says, what's her name? I think it's Wendy. Got to keep regular to stay regular, or stay. What do you say? To stay happy, because he was talking about we got a bunch of prunes, and he's looking at Doc, "You like prunes? I like prunes."
He's such a jackass. He's great, man. Like he's just like, yeah, he's
Or when he says, in the end, before he's smashing in the door, and he starts saying, what does he say? Little pigs, let me come in.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's saying it to Wendy before he fucking axes the door.
When he loses it though, and she's about to hit him with the bat, the other part that I love, again, another piece of dialogue. All the dialogue, the best dialogue in this film belongs to Jack Nicholson. As far as I'm concerned.
Probably, yeah.
When he's like, "Wendy, darling, light of my life," when he's like that, he's like,
My life, yeah.
"I'm not gonna hurt you.
Scene, yeah.
I'm just gonna bash your fucking head."
Yeah.
Or what does he say? Chop you up into little pieces, or I forgot what he says there, but yeah, just the way he's trying to sweet talk her as he's going up the stairs.
What about the part? He goes, no,
And then Shelley Duvall is just, acting horribly. We'll get into Shelley Duvall as we go on, though. Ian actually just brought up an interesting fact here. I didn't know this. She says that, did we know that Kubrick made all the scenes with the actor playing Danny named Danny too, to not let him realize he was in a horror movie?
well, dude, look how small he was. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the other thing to respond to that, is that they didn't let him watch it till like 17 years later, that movie.
Yeah, we'll get into Shelley. We'll get into her in a bit there, Joseph. But yeah, yeah.
He says, "Hey, what about when he does? Now we're gonna make a rule." While he's typing, right? Now we're gonna make a new rule, and then he says, "Whether you hear me in here or you don't fucking hear me, you don't hear me doing. When I'm in here, it means I'm working, and that means don't come in."
Yeah, when he tells her off. Yeah, when
he's starting to really get to him. Like everything's starting to get to him, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously you get quotes like "Here's Johnny" and those ones.
Of course, yeah.
those are givens,
That's
right?
I think the one that everyone obviously points to with this film,
Yeah.
right? Like that one's obviously a classic when he sticks his head through the door there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Also, like when he's talking to the ghost and the guy who killed his family. I guess it was the ghost of the old caretaker. The guy when he's talking to him in that red room, the red bathroom there.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I corrected
Mr.
her,
Grady.
sir."
I corrected-
Yeah. And he's like,
Mr. Grady.
yeah, he's like, "I corrected them, and then I corrected her," whatever. That part's really creepy.
Because that whole room was creepy, man. Imagine having a fucking huge red room like that.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know, Joseph, about the character, Shelley Duvall's character in the book. She was a much stronger character. And, I know Shelley, we'll get into it again, like I mentioned, but the actress herself, I know, had a hard time during the filming of this movie because Kubrick, right? And maybe she wasn't bringing the type of energy he was hoping for, or he's just an asshole. So, which is apparently he drove her crazy during the filming of this. Shelley Duvall, yeah, Kubrick.
Kubrick drove everybody crazy, isn't that what they were saying?
Scatman Crothers, he did as well. He made him do like 100 takes of something. Jack Nicholson, he made it. Yeah, he was doing that a lot. Like he was doing it a lot with the people on this film. But apparently, I guess certain people They attribute some of the fact that later in her life she had essentially like a mental breakdown or something. Shelley Duvall, to the some of the
Well,
she had some
like
trouble.
She has a mental breakdown in that freaking movie,
and apparently that's why he was trying. Like there's stories I've read not collaborations, corroborations on the fact that people have said that he was doing that on purpose to kind of make her look crazy and make her feel away, and try to get some better acting out of her, I guess, for the way that people treating her, because he told everybody to like treat her like shit on the set. Apparently, like there's a lot of stuff I've read about that. No, go ahead, keep talking about the book if you want. I'm interested in hearing about the book and the differences, but you know, we are talking about the film, though. That is true. So
it's kind of cool to hear that perspective.
I always love the guy who's just like, the book's better, because I'm that guy sometimes, right? So
yeah, I was gonna say, you are usually that guy,
and you hate that. So I get it. I do it about comic stuff all the time on this show. I'm like, Jay, the book's better. You're like, we're not talking about the book right now.
Yeah, we're talking about the fucking movie. That's what I mean. But this is we don't care. Right? So
yeah. So anyways,
it's very homely. Yes, it feels very homely in the beginning or two when he walks into the hotel. Yes, it's very homely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's when he goes into that little apartment that they have, essentially. Yeah.
It's kind of weird that they have that little apartment there in the middle of
in the red rum part. Yeah, that's for quotes. That's pretty much what I got here, though. Again, the Lloyd parts were my favorite this time around, and watching him converse with Lloyd.
And like I said, that whole ending is filled with quotes, right? It's just quote after quote after quote from Jack Nicholson, and I can sit here and read them off or write them. I wrote a bunch down, but I mean, if I sat here and started reading them all off to you, we can be here forever. He was just, I think, played a great role.
Yeah, absolutely. The blood scene. Yeah, no, you're right. The elevator scene, which is
that one took
amazing.
A long time to film.
Yes.
Apparently they kept doing it and that's what I mean. Kubrick was just a fucking pain in the ass.
Well, this film took over 11 months to film,
and it doesn't even have any crazy special effects. That's the funny part.
Yeah, it took him 11 months to finish this. I don't know if it was the full 11 months of filming. I'm pretty sure it was, but maybe some of that was spent on editing as well. But apparently this took him almost a year to finish. And I guess they were over budget. And
the graphics, I mean, the actual makeup and stuff, it actually, you know what I like about older films like
That's a good scene when he's in the freezer. Yeah, Richard. Yeah. What do you like?
And maybe we can, I don't know what, maybe I'd like to lead that into another topic. But
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to jump a little bit, but when he says what ages and what's the best and what age is best and worst, right? That's another one of our topics.
Yeah.
And I think what age is the best is, I think, better the graphics for actual makeup and stuff like that back then to make it kind of look scary was better. Maybe the coloring was better. I don't know,
because they had to try better. They had to try more because they didn't have just CGI to slap all over it like now. They didn't have a computer to fix everything.
And you can notice it, and it stands out when it's
right. But when it was done well,
it's a real person doing it.
Yes, and when it was done well, they actually had to, like, you know what I mean, do like old school like prosthetics and like this kind of stuff and multiple takes of scenes and this kind of thing, right? Like that's what I mean. Like back then, anything that looked visually cool like that, you got to really appreciate how good it looked. This is from 1980, this film, right? So like, and
it's like the beginning of when it's all starting to come together with makeup and crazy horror stuff, right? Like, because the 80s was just that genre. From 80s to 80s and 90s were just that genre of horror. That was just like, that was what you watched in the 80s, I think. And in the 90s, you guys tell me, I was barely even an adult. I mean, barely even a kid. Sorry, an adult. I'm barely even an adult now. But yeah, you tell me. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, that the graphics were great, and that's what I think ages good with this movie. Is that graphics, every time I watch them, still kind of freak me out, even though they're little and they're subtle and they're not that crazy. But that kind of, and this is, maybe it's the music into the orchestra and the music in behind it that plays with it that helps out a lot. Because you don't get it as that good anymore with CGI, right? I mean, you get good stuff. You get what you envision in your head.
Yeah.
You get literally.
They're able to do a lot of amazing things now too. Like, don't get me wrong, but I hear what you're saying.
But I feel like it's more fake.
The attention to detail was a little bit different back then.
That's the word. Maybe. The attention to the detail of the person. And this and that, and what they're trying to do. Like, Richard says here when he got out of the freezer scene.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, he looked fucking frozen. It was kind of fucking weird.
Well, I think that's why today, like whenever they do a movie where they actually do like old school movie making, they actually build everything, like the Mad Max film, like the last one they came out with, Fury Road. Like they actually built all those things and like filmed them, like all like the different types of vehicles and stuff they used when they were flying through the desert and all that, like just like the older films. So like that's something that's not really done these days anymore. And whenever
do it on the computer,
and whenever someone does it, it's so much cooler to see because you're not used to seeing it anymore.
No.
And like when they actually build it around like, you know, like good, like the production values that they have today, but they actually take the time to actually put money into things and make them.
Yeah.
It always is a lot better. Like they did that with some of the new Star Wars films. Like they actually built like the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that and like shot it like they used to with the old school kind of movies.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like there's I do like that. I do like when they do it, but it's just a lot more costly. But if it's something like a Star Wars where you know you're gonna fucking clean up in the box office, you can afford to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like that's why. I mean, not that CGI is cheap either, like whatever they do with the computers and stuff. Like, but it's hell of a lot cheaper than screwing up. You know how many takes, like you said, that they may have had to do. All the money had to waste on that scene, right? I didn't even know they did multiple takes on that. Did you read up on that?
No, I didn't know they did multiple takes or anything like that. I haven't.
I thought that's what you were saying because I think I would have thought that would have been something where it's like a one-shot deal.
It probably was. No, the blood shot where they kept pouring the blood through it had to fall out of the thing the right way. That's what I was saying.
That's what I meant. Like, did they do more than one take on that?
Like multiple. It was multiple times.
But that one scene where you see all the blood like going around like the core, like you know what I mean? Like
it's all one. That one scene that you see having they depicted throughout the movie, right?
Yeah.
That one scene is always that same scene with the elevator, and you see it. You think you see it twice in the movie or whatever it is, twice or three times in the movie, right? But they took them. He had to keep doing it because he didn't think that the blood came out the right way. He didn't think the blood was flowing proper way coming through the way they did it.
Okay.
So it took them a while. They had to keep cleaning up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not something that, you know.
I was wondering about that one because that's something I didn't look up. I didn't look into about that.
Really,
that's why
I was specific about that. Like it had to, and I don't know why. Because I mean, blood pouring out of just coming out of an elevator and like that, it doesn't take much really, but it needed to. He wanted to make it look like it was flowing naturally, like, and in his visual eye, it didn't look like it, you know. I would have never until I seen that, I would have never thought it took that long to actually do it. Right. But yeah, they did a bunch of takes for that one. It was that's what I'm saying. Like
that's a great scene. I mean, it's a great scene.
Even though it's just a scene.
Yeah, that's the only reason like I didn't highlight some of the scarier scenes like that is because and it was all part of that big chunk of the last part of the film. Like that's why I kind of lumped it in with that, I guess, at that point. But you know, that it's not that it's not a good scene, not memorable, but it's like, you know, I was looking for some of the other, you know, like moments this time around. And that's why I just found it so entertaining. Like you said, the Jack Nicholson parts the most in this, the quotes, the scenes with him.
That's why I tried to stick away from that, tried to pull away from a little bit of that, like near the end. And see what else I seen. And that's why I started noticing little different little things here, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, let us know, guys. You know what your favorite quotes of the film or any scenes, like I mentioned, if you want to kind of throw them in as we go along here. But did you want to continue with you throw out you jumped ahead here to what's aged the best and what's aged the worst? But no, it's okay.
It came into the subject.
Yeah. You know? So you felt like the graphics and like the horror like that like horror films used to use have aged very well.
That still freaked me out by myself. You know what I mean? It's still the way they play the music, the way the orchestra, all that stuff, it's still great. Nowadays you can do it, but it's all, like I said, computerized, and you can tell, right? There's a lot of things you can tell that stand out when it's done by a computer.
I put for what's aged the best, I put hedge mazes because you know those are still a hell of a lot of fun if you ever encounter one of those. Have you never been one of those?
Not like that.
Not like that, but I mean like crappy ones, sure. But I still think a hedge maze is a cool thing. Like
I've
just
been
the concept. Yeah, anything like that though. I mean that's I like that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of cool. Like even like the hedge maze in this film has aged very well. Like still it's kind of just impressive to see.
It's not there like if you go to that hotel.
No, I know.
Right?
They built it. Yeah. No, I don't think so. They built the head. Yeah. Maybe they built one there now. I don't know. Who the hell knows,
then,
right?
They could have grew one by then.
Yeah, but they built that for the purpose of this film, like the hedge maze, right? So yeah, I really like that. Jack Nicholson I have written down here is what's aged the best, of course. I think he's great in this film, and he still holds up. I mean, like I said, we talked about it when we talked about one of his last films. What was the movie that we watched? The Departed. It was one of his last acting gigs, and we were kind of upset watching that film about how great he is in that movie and how he doesn't act really anymore, right? So it's kind of a shame.
Was it you that was telling me that he's forgetting lines and stuff like that, and that's why he doesn't act?
Yeah, we talked about it on The Departed. Yeah,
that was the one that we were. Yeah, because I remember I heard that somewhere, and I couldn't remember where, and yet it was on the show.
Yeah, there you go. Julie mentioned that.
You guys learn stuff from this show, guys.
There you go. We're all learning together, guys. No one's trying to outsmart one another.
Times, man. Imagine if you got hit in the head 127 times, bro.
But yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is about some of the abuse that she took from Kubrick, and just I guess like you would feel insane after that, right? So if anybody did dig her character or that look or how she kind of was in that moment, I mean, you could, I guess, attribute it to the fact that he basically drove her up a wall, right?
Well, I mean, how much? Okay, you hear about her afterwards later on in life, but I mean, what kind of other stuff has she done? I can't remember. I know the name, but I only remember it from The Shining. I can't picture it in any other show.
So she was in Popeye the same year I think this came out. You ever seen the Popeye, the Robin Williams Popeye?
No, actually I haven't, bro.
It's a strange movie, a strange, dark film.
Yeah.
Check it out, man. It's worth checking out. It's worth checking out just to see how weird of a film it is. Yeah, Shelley Duvall was Olive Oil.
Okay.
And Robin Williams was Popeye.
Oh fuck.
And it's like 1980s, so it's very strange, man. It's strange. A dark, strange film. Watch it. And I don't say that about Popeye. We were like, what dark film?
Not Popeye.
It's weird, man. It's weird. She was in it, I think, the same time as this. We'll have to bring up. I have the IMDb up here in front of me. I know I'm just curious because I believe that's the case. Was it 1980, same year? Yeah, same year. Okay, so
see, there's a guy. We're getting some
no, that's the main thing about the story that I took away from the Kubrick thing was that how much Shelley did do. Same with the Scatman Crothers, the Scatman Crothers, the scene where he's you see him in his place. He's sitting on the couch watching the or is it he's listening to the radio or watching the news? Remember he's
laying on his bed. He's probably at home.
That scene he made him do apparently like 100 times.
What's so hard?
I don't know. He doesn't do anything in that scene. He just sits there. But apparently Jack Nicholson, I was reading, got pissed off at Kubrick at that moment in time because he was pissed off that he made him a Scatman who was 70 years old at the time of that filming. So he apparently was like at his wit's end at the end of him doing that 100 things of him just like doing the camera, like filming probably like different angles or him sitting differently. Who the hell knows, right?
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Like really?
Yeah.
Can you imagine laying there? I fall asleep. How would you be able to sit there and watch the TV? You know, that's one thing I know about actors.
I don't know about this. Yeah. Okay, Max. This fucking guy. This guy's so full of shit. White Man Can't Jump wasn't out in fucking 1980, you asshole.
Yeah, it's his favorite. Yeah, I know. Kubrick traveled in time. You didn't know that?
That's a good pull though from the other day when he said Kubrick's favorite film is White Man Can't Jump, and I'm like, really? I was like, this guy must be talking shit. Yeah, this guy. Watch out. Max is pulling the racist card on Kubrick. I've heard a lot of things about him.
I never heard that part. That was weird. Eh? How do you know that, Max? You're very racist guy.
And then the carpet, the design and like aesthetic of the hotel. I put the carpet, the design of the hotel. Again, I have it in Age the Best. Like you can't beat the design of this film.
I mean, but that's more like a motel, that carpet and stuff. Now, bro. No, that's like one of those ones you pay for an hour.
The carpet's iconic, man.
Yeah, but that's like the same kind of carpet you pay for. It is, I know, maybe in 1980, but right now that's the carpet that is still in those hotels you rent for an hour.
Yeah.
Right, Max?
Yeah, that's true too, Julie. I also read up on that because he was basically the way they filmed this movie, unlike other films, he actually filmed it in order. You know, like some films, they actually, when they film them, they like, okay, we're on scene in this location here. Hey, we got about 3 different scenes in this location. Let's film them all here while we're here as a crew. His was like, he kept rewriting the script as the movie was going. So that's why Julie had mentioned the fact that Jack basically just threw out the script and he basically wasn't, he would just memorize his lines prior to every scene because Kubrick was changing it on the fly.
Yeah.
And they also weren't filming they were filming the movie in order of the scenes. So what the scenes that you saw in the film, like, let's say like the first parts before they go to the hotel, all that was done before they actually went to the hotel area and actually filmed in that area.
So they filmed it off set.
They would go, he would like, you know what I mean? Like they do it out of order a lot of the times, like, because a director, they'll know in the script all the different scenes that they got to do, right?
So instead of doing all the whole inside hotel scenes in that room, they'd go from there to outside.
No, let's say the middle part of the film where Jack Nicholson starts to go crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's the part at the end where maybe he's chasing them.
Yeah.
If it made it easier on the crew and everything, most people in a movie would be like, okay, let's do this scene here first, the ending scene. Let's film that and get that out of the way. Okay. And then we'll do this other stuff later. No, what he did was, because he was constantly changing the script, was like, it would be like, okay, we're going to film the middle part of this movie now. And then we're going to go to the next scene and then the next thing. And then now we're filming the ending of the film. Like every scene that you saw in the movie. Yes. Like they filmed in that sequence, apparently.
Okay.
Which is weird because like you don't normally, when they film movies today, they don't do that. Like they make it easier on themselves. Right. Like they know they can bunch a bunch of scenes in the editing room after the fact. But this one, he like systematically went through each one. Yes. So every scene that you see in the film was apparently filmed in that same order, which is just strange for films. Yeah, so that's what I mean. They said that it was a weird thing that he did by doing that.
And first in the middle, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't. That part I didn't get. I'm sorry, Julie.
When Julie first found out movies aren't often filmed chronologically, I was mind blown.
Well, I'll see. So am I. I'm kind of mind blown.
Let's take a look here before we go on to the what's age the worst of some of the comments here. Just me and so just likes all the indigenous artwork in the movie. Max says the government gave Kubrick Tesla's time machine after he helped fake the moon landing. He's seen everything. If you guys want to see some more nonsense talk like this, tune into this Friday's battle, everybody. That'll be a good one. Yeah, thank you. Obviously, chronologically was the word I couldn't think of. The better explain it to JT.
But I didn't want to steal it because I seen it in the
comment. I was like, let's figure out how many different ways I can explain this. Try to explain this to JT without actually using that word.
You could have just said in a row, one by scene.
Yeah, JT just found it out for the first time here tonight, guys. Yeah.
It's all right.
No, I know what you meant, Julie, for sure.
No, I'm talking about now.
Anyway, so what's age the worst for you? What'd you put here?
What's age the worst? Still, every movie you've noticed, I say smoking, and smoking around the kids, but.
Shelley Duvall in this one,
Still, and the use of the word the N-word because they use that again in this one.
Yes,
in this one, and it was a white guy.
They said about the cook. They said about Scatman. Yeah.
So I mean, there's a few things like that that's age bad, and I know how you like the carpet and stuff, but I thought that the carpet and that stuff aged.
You're crazy. You're crazy,
bro.
Man.
That's like I'm telling you,
even to this day, I know someone that has a mask right now, right? A Halloween, like a mask, but because we're all wearing masks, it's a lot of people have Halloween masks and stuff right now. That's the pattern of that carpet. That's how iconic that carpet, that pattern is, and the color scheme and everything. You're crazy.
No, I like that part there.
Yeah.
I
put handball. When he's bouncing the ball off of the wall.
When was the last time you seen that?
I used to love playing handball, but I just don't think it's aged well because I'm just like, that's strange. Like,
I don't think anybody shares the balls anymore. You don't have to touch everybody else's ball.
No, but it was just interesting seeing him like banging off the wall, like actually like playing by himself. Right. That's what I mean. And just like it just stuck out to me. I was like, oh, that's something you don't really see that often done anymore. Because I remember in the schoolyard back in the day, we used to do that all the time, right? You used to play red ass, you have to run to the wall and touch the wall. If not, you got whipped with the ball, right? Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right. I mean, you see it. I thought it was a cool scene because it's kind of neat to see after so long, right?
Joseph talking about chronological moving filming being very rare. He loves when the director does it. It isn't easy, absolutely. And I mean, I guess that was what he envisioned for this, and that's the way he wanted to do it. But again, it's very hard on the set and the crew and the people involved. You got to be really behind and believe in a director. And I think at that time he had already gained enough momentum that people thought that he was like a genius filmmaker, that I think everybody was along for the ride in the filming of this movie. But I bet you if this was anybody else, half those people would have walked off the set. You know what I mean?
They
like,
know how to take it. Like, they wouldn't know how to take that headache of thing, right? Like, I mean,
but
Jack
I think
Nicholson was Jack Nicholson at that time. I mean, you can boss him around, but how much could you really boss him around at that time?
Yeah,
he was, Jack Nicholson. I would be scared of him. I wouldn't know how to talk to that guy.
No, it's just like, but then it also, it's kind of, I know some people also judge, don't like the fact that we give so much rope to these people because they're like, oh yeah, he's just, this is just his process, like him being an asshole and him, you know what I mean, acting this way and freaking out on the actors. Oh yeah, that's just how he is, well, you know what I mean? Because there's been a lot of genius directors that have been apparently bad people to work with in that sense, that they've gotten the pass over the years, and people have put up with them because they're like, this is going to make my career, like, you know what I mean? So like, so I just think it's not an excuse. Like in today's times, that wouldn't fly. Like you hear about people getting exposed for being bad people all the time now in show business, right? Like it's
exactly.
Look at what's her name recently. What's her most recent one, Ellen or whatever.
Oh yeah, this is weird.
She toxic work environment. I'm like, of course she's probably a shitty person. I'm like, what do you like? You know what I mean? Like,
be nice on TV all the time.
But a lot of people are probably shitty persons behind the scenes in show business. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't know why everyone was surprised at that. You know what I mean? Like, it just like
maybe you get cocky and full of yourself, or maybe it's just
that happens too.
They're driving you nuts. On set and doing all that crazy stuff. It just doesn't work with you. You know what I mean? It doesn't work well with the actors. It makes them crazy as people. They don't want to deal with people.
Yeah, and then I put the other thing, like you said, the racism again. I put for age the worst.
I still always that one never sits well with me. Still, I don't know. I make jokes, guys, here and there and stuff like that, but honestly, it never sits well with me.
Hey, it's the first appearance of my mom here in the chat. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Yes, it was something about 1942, correct? I read up on this. There's a summer of 1942 or something, because they kept doing the reference to that year, 1942, in the film.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to let me know if I'm correct on that, but I believe that's the case. It's something of summer of 1942 or 1942, but I didn't know that until I read it, and that was only this week, to be honest with you. So that's news to me as well. My mom was talking about what movie was playing on the TV when the mother and son were watching. Yeah, there you go. Which I've never heard of that film before, but I think it's something that, again, you could really miss. It can go over your head and you won't make reference to it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That. I mean, I just know there was something on the TV.
Yeah, but right. But again, it's about the symbolism and the whole, like, you know what I mean? Like the things that all connect in this film, that the Kubrick is intentional.
Well, this comes with all that picking apart over the years, right?
Yeah.
This comes with all their picking and analyzing this film.
Okay. Let's go into the best performance, our favorite performance of the film. Not to say it's the best, but our favorite performance of the film, guys. Let's get into that. And please let us know what your favorite performances were. I think it's pretty clear through what me and JT have already said at this point. It's got to be Jack Nicholson for me. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no, I actually, you know what? I can probably argue that Danny, even as a kid and probably being told what to do and whatever, he whether he knew it or not that he was acting, and he obviously did. He wasn't that young. I mean, he was young, but he's old enough to know that he was acting and saying lines, right? But honestly, he actually was pretty good, to be honest. I thought, right? Besides
I gave him a different category, so I agree with you, but I didn't give him my favorite performance. But he shows up somewhere else for me. But I agree with you. And the actor's name was I have it up here, Danny Lloyd. Danny is played by
He played
Danny Lloyd.
but I
There
don't
you
think
go.
he's done anything else ever since, man. Unless you know that he's done something from there.
No, I think he has.
Yeah, but anything
He
that
was
you can know?
actually they have him listed on IMDb as spectator in Doctor Sleep. I guess he was like in the background, maybe, or watching.
Oh,
he
that's
showed up
funny,
in
eh?
Doctor Sleep though. Yeah, he
But
showed up in Doctor.
He looks pretty rough now. As an older guy.
But other than that, you're right. He basically just had he was in a TV movie 2 years later after The Shining, just TV stuff it looks like, and then stuff about The Shining he showed up in, like movies about The Shining, talking about The Shining and like stuff like that. But yeah, he has very few credits. He actually looks kind of weird now if you look at a picture of him on here.
He didn't
Yeah.
age well. There's some of those, child actors that age kind of rough,
Yeah.
And then that's the one that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, let us know,
So would you
guys,
say
what
favorite performance.
yeah,
No,
let us
so,
know
I
what
mean,
your favorite performances
'cause
were here in the chat. Let us
the
know.
whole red rum scene.
Yeah.
That whole red rum scene there.
Yeah, that's good.
That dairy. That's him. That's him. That's all him.
But yeah, I still got to give it to Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. I mean, he is the main character, bro. So I get it. But I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think the scene, if you go by scene, I think I know what other category you might.
Okay, so best cameo. I don't know if you can call this a cameo because he had a lot of screen time, but the only other person I felt that I could put in this category was Scatman Crothers, because like he was, well known, I think, for other things going into.
I got two after that you'll like.
Okay, yeah, that's for me. That was the only one I could really think of in this put in this category, honestly. And he has a great part in this film, right? But he was known for other things, right? Like singing and like music. That's what I mean. So like the fact that he was in this film and he had this part, that's the only reason I don't think of him first and foremost as an actor, even though he did a lot of other acting. So I put him as the best favorite cameo of the film. I had to say for that one.
So I gotta say like Jack and Shelly and Danny. Not shy.
Man's favorite performance was Jack for sure, but I love Shelly and Danny. Oh, you love Shelly. All right.
All right. But,
you not like my answer. The next answer in one of these categories, but okay.
You have another. That's the one that stole your thing. Because I just want to tell you the one I think.
Oh, that's an interesting observation. Jack Nicholson was the best, and you can see the Joker character, which came later. Yeah,
you can notice that, but Jack Nicholson really that's the kind of role he played. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, he had that
crazy look.
He had that look on his face even way before.
This is fresh off of the reason why they wanted to cast him in this too was because this is this is directly so I
that was black.
They already Kubrick I think had already thought that people were already going to believe the fact that he was crazy in this because he was coming off of Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah. Studied it too, right?
Yeah.
You have to study that kind of crap, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, as an actor, you'd have to learn, realize how to, get into character. He didn't have to as much because he's coming off a character like that, right?
What do you have as best cameo? Favorite cameo.
I had first of all, I'm gonna say the naked chick in the washroom. That's a hands up for me.
Who is that? Though?
I have no idea. So I have no idea, but that was a great cameo. That was a great cameo, dude. Full frontal and everything. Okay, you don't get that very much in movies anymore. Okay,
and
if you do,
you mean disgusting old woman, the woman that was
disgusting old woman. Okay, that other one, disgusting old woman, was a good cameo as well, but not as nice.
I lean more towards the disgusting old woman personally, but
I mean that's where I said the graphics are good when it comes out to that part. With the disgusting old woman. But I also thought Mr. Grady, the caretaker, the original caretaker, when he was talking,
he was good.
Yeah,
he was good.
Cameo.
He was good. I like
good,
that,
man. I thought so. That's where I kind of went with those two. I mean.
We'll get into that. No, you're not. You're not. We'll get into the bear scene, Max. We'll get back to that. Yeah, that's a strange part. You know what he's talking about?
No, I don't think I do, bro.
That's in one of my other categories.
Okay, we'll let you do. We'll let you talk about that one. But I'm having a brain fart. Okay, but yeah,
shame.
Don't talk. Yeah, no. Julie wasn't that. She only was
never watched the movie.
Said she was
Julie
only born like 12 years later, dude. She watched Danny got to
Yeah.
watch the movie before she was born.
Oh
bro.
man, did you know that off the top of your head of who the actress was? The naked lady. She knows the actress's name. Or did you look it up? I mean, we could also look it up.
Yeah, I could check on my phone right now too.
But he's not really his favorite cameo. So you're saying the what was the actor's name who played him? Grady, the guy in the
Grady,
bathroom.
oh fuck, his
Yeah.
name is.
I have it here. I have it up here. I have
yeah,
it up
you
here.
have it- yeah, I didn't have it on two screens here. I can't. I'm still working on figuring out two
Uh,
screens.
Philip Stone. Philip Stone, who played Grady. That's your favorite cameo of the film, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
He was also in A Clockwork Orange, Kubrick's other film from 9 years previous to this. Indiana Jones. Oh, is he like a Nazi in that film?
Yeah, but he was also in the beginning too of this film. I think.
What? He was in Flash Gordon. This guy actually has some credits.
Flash
Good-
or Flesh?
No, not that version. He was in
Oh, okay.
Flash.
There's
Flash
two?
Gordon. Yeah,
I always thought it was Flesh Gordon.
no, it's Flash Gordon.
Okay,
I think that was like
that was the dirty version.
yeah, the dirty version I played on TV. He has a lot of major credits, this guy, but I didn't recognize him like
Oh,
that as this character, but from anything else. So yeah, good pull. Good one. I like that.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't see him, and they reference him in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, when the tragedy happened there, and now that
Yeah.
but that was the only thing you get. And then I think he was in the scene right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And you don't notice until afterwards. Like you don't realize until afterwards when Jack actually says, "Weren't you the guy at the interview?" sort of thing.
Right.
Because I think it was during the interview.
Strangest camera angle was on the airplane.
Well, it's kind of weird because if you think about that, yeah, because how the hell did they do that? Because first of all, you got to make sure you don't see the
Well,
the
the
shadow.
the shot at the start of the film, even
Mhm.
they must have did that from a helicopter or something
Yeah,
at that time,
and
right? The aerial view
Yeah.
of them over watching the car like along the whatever that highway there or whatever it was, right? And the
They had to film
mountains
that, yeah,
and the tree, everything. Yeah, so they must have at that time.
that
That's
cost
much.
a fortune.
I'm
probably.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure. So that
You know?
even that whole intro scene is really amazing looking too that they
It's
did,
beautiful,
right? Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
you know what? It'd probably be nice to take a trip out there just to see what that.
Yeah.
It'd probably cost a fortune to stay there. but
Probably, but I would like to do that. That would be
if
cool to
it's how
do.
original
That would be
it
cool to
look,
do.
But
Yeah, someone had asked earlier, I don't know if it was Joseph or someone had asked if anybody has actually been to that place and stayed there, but that is something, it is apparently a famous attraction now because of the film, and I would like to do that. Okay. Yeah, it's just, it's not that guys love the seed. It's just, it's a gross seed. Like, I mean, like, just,
well,
the old lady.
everybody knows it's going to come out of my mouth.
but she's right
Anybody
about,
who watches the show,
she's right about the strangest camera angle being on the plane though. That was
Yeah, eh?
weird. Yeah.
well,
Okay.
you know what, too? Because look, I mean, nowadays you can use a drone and you can go right around
Yeah.
and you pretty much get anything, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, for that, it's kind of it is a lot of work.
Okay, so what's next here? We talked about favorite cameo. Okay, now we've reached the overacting award, everybody. Jay, you want to take it away on the
Oh,
overacting
you know what? I
award?
think we're both got the same.
Yeah,
person here,
probably.
right? So I think we're both gonna say Ian's favorite there, Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. I'm sorry
it
for
gets me. I mean, it's good acting, but it's overacting.
Yes.
Okay. And
Well,
that's the only thing I can.
it's okay acting, in my opinion.
She's very strange looking at a young age.
Yes,
you
the
know,
bug eyes and,
the big teeth. And
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
big
mean?
teeth.
Like, they stick out.
yeah.
I mean, not for anything. I'm not judging her or anything, guys, but I mean, she looks scary herself. I mean, if she would have turned into one of the ghosts or something and throughout the movie, or but yeah, she was kind of just playing the crazy person. And
Mhm.
maybe if that's what he actually did, right? If Kubrick made him made her crazy so that she looks like it, then he did a good fucking job because she looks
Oh,
crazy.
there you go. Julie mentioned that Shelley, she got the golden raspberry for worst actress for this film.
Are you serious? What the hell's a
So
golden
yeah, I'm
raspberry?
with you, JT. I'm not going to leave you hanging on that one. Apologies to anybody that liked her in this film, but I got to give the overacting award to her
Yeah,
as
like,
well.
Her and Danny's relationship was nice. Like, I mean, it's a mother.
Yeah, but once it gets to the scenes of her being scared and now that we know kind of a little bit behind the scenes of maybe some of the psychosis or the way she was feeling in those moments working on this film. Maybe explains maybe some of the performance that she ended up bringing to the screen. Maybe it helped the performance because she's not that great of an actress. As we get into the next category, our least favorite performance or worst performance, as I guess you can put it bluntly. I also feel it's Shelley Duvall in this film. Honestly, I don't think she's great. She's got moments, that I enjoy, and I can't really see someone else playing this character.
No.
So, you know what I mean? So I'll give her that. Like, she made the role her own, whether or not it's for being so odd on the screen or just the way she approached it, or the fact that she's like not the typical person you would expect in a film like this, at least for me, because I don't really know. I haven't really seen a lot of her other acting credits, to be fair. I've only seen, like I said, the Popeye I've seen this movie, and she didn't really do a lot after in the she kind of fell off, her career fell off. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was nothing after that. And I don't know if it's because she went fucking crazy. I mean, she did some other stuff as she got older. I'm pretty sure as became an older lady.
Yeah.
But when she was young like that, I mean, the thing I like, the thing that I will say about her is that she does give the effect of a horror movie because of the black hair, the greasy black hair, that look, that white pale look. She just gives that effect. Jack Nicholson at first doesn't give that effect. When he's there, he gives that a full effect of being happy about being there. Slowly, graduate. Her, it was just, it kind of reminded you that this is going to be a little bit of a horror film. So watch. I don't know how to explain what I mean by that.
I don't hate her in the film. Let's just get that straight. I don't hate her in the film. I just don't think
they couldn't do without her. I don't
That's
think
what
they
I mean.
Like, somebody else.
It's just like, if I had to pick somebody, I have to pick her. Like, honestly, like I have to. Like, if I had to say to somebody that he probably didn't bring it as much as everybody else in whatever capacity they could have in this type of film, right? Whatever the conditions being on the set with the director and all that, I gotta say, I gotta give it to her for both the overacting as well as, I will say. And I mean overacting, and not in a bad way, because sometimes people can take it over the top and also be the best people in the film, but sometimes they, there's just they just bring too much, right? Nicholson was close at times, to be honest, but
but that's almost because you're like driven to do that,
right? You can make an argument for him, but he's actually a better actor than she is, so that's why I think that he was able to reel it back somewhat. You know what I mean? Like, you actually believed he was crazy. She was so distraught and like going crazy.
She looked crazy from the first scene,
right? But her look, not really like anything.
Not the way she acted,
right?
She just looked like a concerned mother. I get it, but she also looked like she also looked freaked out.
I'm not trying to justify it, but you can't. In a way, I am, because you can't only pick her. Like, honestly, and I know everyone picks. I just wanted to mention the fact we are aware of some of the stuff that happened with her later on in her life, and some of the bad memories she might have from filming this movie, right? Because apparently it did a number on her. So, anyways,
I don't know. I didn't see her in anything else. If anybody knows of her in anything else.
Spielberg did not like Nicholson's performance at all when this movie came out. Oh, interesting. Okay. Danny was awesome. So was Jack. Yep. Absolutely.
I thought you said
best performance was Ewan McGregor as the little boy. That was impressive. I mean, I look at them in Dr. Sleep now. By the way, Dr. Sleep, a good film. I like it. For a sequel, 40 years after the fact. It's pretty good.
After your brain is all fucked up because of all the different things you've seen on it, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't get. I wanted to watch 237, like you, but I didn't get a chance to rewatch that again, right? So that's totally kind of went out the window for me. But that was another one that brings up a bunch of fan theories and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So anybody that's interested in checking that out, if you are interested in some of like the theories that went into this film, again, Room 237, you can find it on the internet. I like Dr. Sleep for sure, Max. I liked it. Okay, so moving on to the next category here. Do you agree with the least favorite performance was also Shelley Duvall for you?
Because I figured that's where you were going with that.
Yeah.
Even though I had brought it up in something else.
Right? Nitpicks. Any nitpicks for the film, Jay? Things that even though we love the movie,
buck teeth. Sorry. You got braces for that now.
Well, we're really giving Shelley a hard time here now. Yeah, her teeth are. I actually put that in my other comments, Jay, but I do have it right now.
I just had that in my head too, right? I'm just thinking, right?
You know, I really don't have.
I picked her voice, so then I just said her teeth.
I have her teeth written down here too, man. Oh man,
Well,
they're just big. They're just big teeth. Yeah,
they're awkward for her head. That's what it is. I mean, nowadays they probably fix that, right?
Yeah. I should have also put in nitpicks because I didn't put anything for nitpicks. I didn't really have any issues.
Well,
this
you
time
know what?
around,
The red
yeah.
washroom at the end. I get what's going on with the red, but the whole washroom being red, it kind of threw me for a loop because that was the only thing that kind of looked. It kind of looked original, like too new for the film when it was that red, like that whole feel to it.
Yeah.
Besides him being there, the Mr. Grady, and talking about the thing to Jack. Right?
I almost felt like it was red like that because they were trying to show you that it was like hell or something like that. You know what I mean? Like an evil presence.
A visual of some sort,
I think because it was kind of like, let me take you over here and like have this conversation with you. And that's where he really drove home the fact that he killed his family and why he killed his family. And so I always thought that the visual effect of the room being red was for that reasoning, right? Like I thought. Because there's a lot of that, and they also made reference to the fact about, like I said earlier, the manager's office, how the sun shines in during that scene is apparently, they talk about it in that room 237, right? About how like that whole thing is supposed to be
the lighting.
It's supposed to be. I forgot the reasoning as to why they said that.
Well, I think it was that time of year or something like that, or that, or which way the time was filmed or something.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have been that bright.
Yeah, apparently something caught on fire on set because
they were making it look like snow.
Right.
They were making it look like
the lighting,
the sun beating off the snow because there was none at that time. I think when they did it, or it had to be perfect. It had to make it look.
You're being called out for your teeth now. Like I said, I don't got the most perfect teeth either, but like, yeah, she's got big chompers. I didn't say they're bad teeth.
My head, at least, if whatever's left of them, right? So
there you go. Red rum was the code for the fall of the Soviet Union. Max has gone down the conspiracy hole. All right,
he does that on YouTube. That's all he does. He sits at home and watches conspiracy theories on YouTube.
I was that's all I had for nitpicks really though. Yeah. Okay. So these are the big categories now, guys, and please let us know in the comments what you guys think of these ones, because these are some pretty good ones here. Who won the movie, Jay? Who did you have as who won the film?
Danny,
the kid.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I could say Jack. I mean, we could all say Jack, but I think Danny won it. When I sat back and rewatched it for a kid, I mean, he doesn't have much to say, but at the end, you know, even though he's got it all set out, he does win at the end. Really, you know, I mean, it was a good little performance. If you don't realize, I mean, he's got a lot. Yeah, but he does a lot of talking.
But he didn't really do anything after this. How could you say he won the film? Like,
I could say, I'm not saying it's a career peak for him,
right? Well, which is another of our categories, which is next. Yeah,
right?
But
so I mean, I think as a person who stole the show, I think he did for that. I mean, Jack steals the show and everything he goes to. So I kind of pulled him out of the category because I could say that. I've been saying it in a lot of everything else too. Is Jack Nicholson? I had the question marks beside it, who I thought won, and I had Danny question mark or Jack, right? Because I couldn't figure out what I like saying.
Right. So for me, I had two people I could have picked for this, but I got to give it, I guess, one over the other. At first, I thought Kubrick, because this is one of my favorite films.
Yeah, I know you like to predict producers.
The directors I usually mention, they've won the film because especially if it's a film that I think highly of, and it's a high point in their career, I do definitely, a lot of the time, as you know, I put that in who won the movie category, right? Overall. I think that's the easy answer. But when you really think about this film and what you really like about this film, a lot of the things that you like about this film is the visuals in this film, right? You would say, like, visually it's a masterpiece. Like it's a very interesting film to look at. So you got to give the credit to the cinematographer for that. So the cinematographer in this film
really dug in
is John Alcott, who has worked with Kubrick on many other films.
Okay, he worked with him to put up with his shit.
Really. Yes, so
for many other films.
Yes, so he's 2001: Space Odyssey, Barry Lyndon, to Clockwork Orange. He was a cinematographer with I worked with him on a lot of his most well-regarded films. So I gave it to the cinematographer John Alcott in this one over Kubrick. But Kubrick is right there. Like, honestly, like any other day I could, but yeah,
I never classify them as that. You know, I don't know why. I always say the same thing to you every time we come on for the movie cast. I always say, yeah, you go with the director and the. I didn't think you were going to go cinematographer, right?
Or what's going on? Yeah, no, I agree. Like 2001 is definitely his best cinematography for sure. But Arv also a fellow photographer, I believe, right? Arv, I think that's one of your hobbies, right? You're into that, as well as Julie, who just actually made the great episode art for our show here tonight. So thanks for that. Once again, shout out to Julie, who I should have mentioned that at the top of the episode. Check out the new episode art for this show that Julie put together for us for Late Night at the Movies. I really, really, really love it.
Give yourself a shout out there, Julie.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if you did it professionally or not, Arv. I wasn't sure on that, so that's why I said, okay, cool. That's awesome. I've never seen Barry Lyndon. Yeah, I've heard it's shot very, again, like great, and it's like a period piece, I believe, right? Because again, I'm going back to talking about that Room 237 because I just rewatched it earlier. They also mentioned in that one of the guys that was talked on that documentary had mentioned he felt that coming off of Barry Lyndon, Kubrick was very bored because it was like a period piece, like it wasn't. So he really went balls to the walls, like all the crazy crap in this film, right? Compared to the other one. Yeah. So he said that coming off that film, he was kind of bored. So that's why he went and changed whatever Stephen King's vision, and he just kind of did all this crazy stuff he wanted to do in this film, right? So, yeah.
But then it was shooting with ambient light, it's the light, natural light that's coming in from outside.
Yeah,
you got to pick and choose your days, obviously, right? It's got to be hard timing, the sun, everything. So
I got to give it to him for the who won the film here, and let us know, guys, in the chat who you thought won the film overall, like who benefited, who benefited the most from this film, who came off the best.
That's probably a better way to. I know. I keep forgetting. I got to start putting that who benefited more.
Okay, moving on here. Career peak. Who peaked at this was part of their peak of their career, would you say, in this movie? And I got to double check one thing on my answer. I'm pretty positive my answer is, again, Shelley Duvall on this one. Because her work is few and far between, I think, going into the into the 90s. And then I think she did a lot of TV stuff. And then she had she apparently appeared on the Dr. Phil show a few years ago. And it was her first appearance, publicly, for years, since the 2000s, when her career kind of fell apart. And I think she had a breakdown and all, and some other stuff I was reading. She really had a hard time of it as her career went on. But I think between this and Popeye, as much as I didn't love her in the film, I think that this was probably the biggest year for her. And at least to my knowledge, she probably peaked at this point in her career. Again, I'm not really familiar with a lot of her work after the fact. So if I'm wrong on that, guys, please correct me. But looking at her credits, she did a lot of TV stuff after this and a lot of roles that I don't think I'd ever seek out or I'd be interested in. But yeah, the fact that I don't find her to be a great actress to begin with, I think doesn't help as well. But this has definitely got to be a big year for her between this and Popeye with Robin Williams at this time. I know it wasn't well received. But yeah, I got to say that this is probably it for her. What do you say there?
Yeah, I always start to say who's on their way up. I start to think about who's on their way to their peak at that time too, right? And I mean, obviously you picked Jack for that one, right? I mean, he's on his way up, and he's going to start making movies throughout the 80s and 90s, and that's where he starts, because he started with a few earlier ones. He's already had 3 in the bag from there, right? I think it was 3 or something, and then he started still climbing from there, right? So he was on his way up.
Jack? Yeah, no, you can't say this was a peak. No, absolutely not.
Starting towards the peak. That's what he's doing.
Chinatown was before this, I think. Cuckoo's Nest was before this. Was Chinatown before this or after this?
After this.
It was after this.
And Peter, the one with Peter Fonda, Easy Rider. There's only 2 movies that
you can't say that. Here, Arv brought up a good point here. He brought up the fact that Shelley Duvall, he feels, not for the peak, but I think it was for who won the movie. It may be just because she was in a film like this, he might be saying this, right? Unless you're a big fan of Shelley Duvall, you think she benefited the most from this film, right? Yeah, no, absolutely. I would say coming off this movie, I mean, it was probably a big deal for her to be in a Stanley Kubrick film, right? So yeah, I agree that from that perspective, that's an interesting perspective I have on it as well too. Yeah. So who's your peak then? You think?
I mean,
it can't be Nicholson. It can't be Nicholson.
That's what I'm saying. He's on the upward climb there, right? That's when he starts getting really good.
Yes.
And he starts to show his real true.
Yes, but this is in the middle.
He was.
This is like in the middle of a run, I would say.
30s, so
yeah, this is like in the middle.
Maybe a little bit older than that.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, no, it'll be Shelley Duvall because nobody else did anything really after that. Scatman was done. I think he did all those little things in the beginning. Right? I mean, you can't. It's true. I don't want to see.
This could be a peak for Scatman. I don't know what he did. What did he do?
He didn't do anything after this. I don't think. I heard
this could be
things about him.
This could be a peak for him then.
But there's nothing really. If you look,
you can make the argument for this being his peak. Then I mean, ending out on a Kubrick film for Scatman, that's pretty.
Because I don't think there was much after that. I mean, I'd have to look it up.
I'd be okay with that answer. I have the IMDb right now. Let me just take a look. But I think that's a good answer actually. Scatman is not a bad answer. I don't feel. I mean, like, you know, he's 70 in this, right? I mean, if this is how he kind of ended, at least from what you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he died 6 years later, bro. He died in 1986. That's what I mean. He's 76. Right. So this has got to be. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 75.
Yeah, that's what else.
And then he was in The Shining in 8. I think that's a good answer. I think you go with Scatman because, like, look, his acting credits after this. He had he was in some TV series after this.
Yeah. I mean, his picture is still black and white. I mean, there's a few guys.
What? He was the voice of Jazz in Transformers? What? I didn't know that. What? He was the voice of Transformers? I had no clue. That's awesome. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. I gotta say that the peak is definitely the Transformers.
Yeah, but like 20 years later, bro.
No, 4 years, 1984 to 86 before he died. He was the voice of.
Yeah, so that was just before he probably couldn't even get out. They were probably filming.
Hey, look, he was on the Love Boat.
Yeah, but that's prior too, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know too much about his older stuff. Duvall for peak. Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no message came up late. That's why there's a little bit of delay in the chat. So sometimes I got to double back and guess. But so thanks for clarifying. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Is this the same Scatman from I'm a Scatman? Max is asking.
I don't know. Look it up, Max. You're the one that has all the fucking conspiracy theories over there, bro. I thought the same thing though. That's the only time I've ever heard that name, ever. Yeah. Is that Scatman song, right? I forgot that was even his name, bro. But.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer, man. I'm good with Scatman.
Who named him Scatman? Yeah. When he was born, somebody named him Scatman. Think of that. He was the guy that cleaned the scat off the floor.
His name is he was born Benjamin Sherman Carruthers. He was given the name Scatman, actually.
Yeah.
There you go.
I wonder if he was part of slavery.
He was born in 1910.
Yeah, so it could have been, man. That might have sucked. And he changed it. They had to take his name. That's weird. I mean, I'd have to look that up.
JT, more of a skeet man.
You're going down Friday. Fuck you, Max. I'm gonna.
Okay. He got you good there. JT is more of a skeet man.
You're gonna go on for a solo for you guys. There you go.
Oh, get out of here. Delay is an overstatement. There's like a minute delay here in the chat. It's not that bad.
Get a better phone.
I always loved his bit in the Aristocats. He's a voice in that too, huh? All right.
Okay. You know how I was probably 3 when I watched Aristocats. I think, or no, it came out in the.
So you're going 90s. With Scatman on the career peak. Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I don't like Shelley Duvall.
All right, possibly unanswerable questions. We gotta move it along here. We got half an hour here. We're gonna wrap this up. Possibly unanswerable questions in this one, guys.
There's too many, bro.
This is where the bear one comes into play, Max, because I know you've been asking about this all episode. What the hell is up with that scene?
What bear?
So there's a scene towards the end where Danny sees there's a guy in a bear suit going down on some guy that works there or something.
Where the fuck is it?
And he's in a bear suit. And like he just turns around and sees this like weird, horrible sexual kind of thing going on. And it's really just like a throwaway weird moment. as it's escalating towards the end of him chasing him through the hedge maze. Well, sorry, was it Shelley Duvall that sees him or Danny? I think it sort of
Danny.
It was Danny, right? It's before he ran outside. It's when he was chasing Shelley Duvall, I think. Jack Nicholson, and then he's seen it when he was running through the hall, I think prior to the whole hedge maze
getting
thing.
ahead. She got the native music playing. You got the native
furries
indigenous
in the 80s
music playing. Well, you got indigenous music playing in the background. I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Right? And
they did talk
ahead from a guy dressed up as a teddy bear costume. What the fuck? That's what I wrote.
Yeah,
it's a fucking unanswerable question.
Dominant and submissive role thing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird sexual stuff in this film, which is why I referenced it earlier too, right? And I know that they also explained in that room again 237 they had talked about this scene, but I can't remember what the hell their explanation was for it. But I'm with you, Max. I think it's a weird scene that I guess
of course Max figures it out.
You know, but like
I forgot all about it.
It's not like Danny went to his mom after and like, wow, you know what I just saw in that room? It's just like never referenced again. It's just like, oh, okay. Like,
no, maybe that just helped Danny get along with everything. You know, maybe they helped him. Kubrick helped him out because, you know, imagine watching that movie as you get older. When you get older, like Danny did, he wasn't allowed. They took him. They wouldn't let him see it. Right?
Yeah.
So imagine seeing that and seeing, you know, what the fuck happened in this movie?
Yeah.
Where was I? Exactly saying that as a grown man, he's probably going, where the fuck was I?
But that's all I put out. That's all I wrote down. This is a movie where I should have many possibly unanswerable questions, but like that's the only thing. Everything else I just kind of rolled with. That's the only thing that's always stuck out to me is like that was weird. Like, you know, like the little girls, okay, you know, like there's like whatever, there's ghosts here at this hotel. I can roll with it, right? The elevator of blood, all right, it's evil, it's an evil house, sure, you know, they going crazy in the bar, all that stuff, like, and obviously there's the unanswerable questions about the production of the film and like the, you know, some of the visual stuff, but that is a very weird thing, that part. Like I just don't know what anyways, what would you have written down for unanswerable questions?
I didn't really, you know, who was more crazy, Shelley or Jack?
Who was more crazy? Oh, yeah. Jack, for sure.
But she got crazy at the end there too, right? I mean, she got nuts and she took off, and I don't know. It's kind of weird. And then there was a situation, and I can't remember exactly what was said, but there was something discussed with Jack and Mr. Grady. But it kind of reminded me of thinking, was Jack the caretaker the whole time? Right? Was he the caretaker prior to this? You know, I know there's that whole thing.
Well, he tried to say that you're the caretaker, so you always have been, or whatever, right?
And that kind of threw me off too, right? Which kind of threw me off, and I'm thinking, okay, because there's a lot of little weird
thinks
things.
Jack is the crazier one out of him and his wife.
I think it's always the women. Women make you crazy. All work and no play.
I liked Arv's here comment though about Kubrick injecting some psychosexual imagery for a variety of horror though. That's a good, yeah. I mean, obviously that could be all it is, right?
We're just reading as cinematographer.
We're reading into it too much, right?
Somebody else filmed it and they added it in at the end. Who knows?
I don't know if what's his name, Joseph's still with us here, but I haven't seen him comment in a bit. But if you do want to clarify whether or not that was in the book, that'd be interesting. This is a moment where I would like to know if that was in the book, the bear scene. Yeah. So please enlighten us if you're around.
Actually, he was telling me one time that after a certain time, it cuts off his feed, and then he has to come back and jump back on. It's
that's weird. Interesting.
Yeah. I was wondering if his computer had a timer. So when
oh, you're just getting told off here, Jay.
She's just she can't remember her name.
Okay, so you have any other unanswerable questions there though before we move on?
No, not really. I mean, and how did Doc know his name? How did Daddy know?
The Shining.
I know.
It's The Shining.
Yeah, but really, okay. What is?
No, it's very clear that he knows.
What is The Shining? He just made it
psychic,
up.
An
ability. I don't have it. I fucking sit there and have seizures and shit, bro. I don't have no Shining. I don't see. Well, you know what? I do think of things right before they happen, which is kind of weird. Sometimes I notice that pop up. Maybe that's got something.
There's another crazy Max theory for you guys. I'm not gonna talk about it.
Oh God, you're fucked, Max.
I'm not gonna repeat that one. You can continue.
Joseph's there. There you go.
There you go, Joseph. Please let us know.
Yeah.
Answer the hard-hitting questions. Is the bear scene in the book, Joseph? He's trying to tell us how brilliant the book is. We're like, but is the bear scene in the book?
Is the bear scene in the book? Then we know. Then we know it's Kubrick getting the blowjob from the cinematographer.
There you go.
And somebody caught it without seeing.
What else do we got here? Okay, clutch performance.
If you don't give me that blowjob, you won't have an acting career.
Clutch performance of the film. I gotta say, Danny for me. Danny was the clutch performance for me. I know you said it was your cameo. I think you gave to him, didn't you, or something? Or was that where you put him?
No, I said who won the movie. Remember?
Oh, won the movie. Yeah, sorry, I was about to say he can't be a cameo. I gave it to a clutch performance. I thought somebody who was really necessary, had a very necessary part, and for him being a kid and being a creepy kid at that in this film, like actually bringing in a couple of scenes, I thought for being a young actor at that point and not actually pursuing this career, it looks like. Although there was some talk in the chat, I guess he's a teacher now, maybe for acting.
Yeah.
I got to give it to Danny Lloyd, the kid who played Danny. Really, the kid could have been a really annoying, problematic part, as sometimes kids are in films, you know what I mean? Just because of the fact, are they really taking this serious? Are they that good of actors at that age? You know what I mean? So I thought that for what he brought to the film, it was necessary. So I got to give the best, my favorite clutch performance to him.
Yeah. Well, I kind of gave it to, because I was where my toss up was, right? I gave it to Scatman, to be honest, because without him in there,
that's a good answer.
You wouldn't have got the whole full effect. He was the one who at the end there, was watching and trying to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Right. Trying to get a hold of them at the hotel. That was a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of laid the groundwork for the setup behind the movie itself, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, of what goes on at that hotel when he's sitting there talking to Danny, those little chats that he has, those little things, right? And then to worry about them when he sees that the snow's getting bad and the electricity's cut out.
Yeah.
Sorry, the phone's not working and shit like that.
If I didn't give it to Danny, I would have given it to Scatman as well. But I said, we just had him in different spots in our categories, right? But I agree
also
with
even
you.
thought of Mr. As the old caretaker, because he was a role that you kind of got the gist of it. You heard about him in the beginning when he killed his daughters. You see his daughters popping up throughout the movie, but you don't actually see the whole scenario, right?
And then there's that guy award, or that person, if you want to be
that's where it is here too. And who's the guy in the bear suit?
That's your that guy award.
No, it was one of them.
And then that guy category is like one of those people you see in a film and you don't really know their name, but you've seen them in other films. And I'm actually just gonna fill this one out on the fly and change it up. And I'm actually gonna say what JT said earlier for that Grady guy, because he has a lot of credits and I've seen him in a lot of things, but I didn't realize that I've seen him in a lot of things. And he does have a great moment in this film, so I gotta give it to him. I'm gonna give it to I forgot the actor's name again now. Grady Philip Stone for that guy award. He is the other caretaker that killed his whole family. I'm gonna give it to him because
I thought the bartender was good, but I just didn't know where he was. Like I gave him that guy, or even the police officer that didn't have a big role for sure.
Right.
But Jack, but yeah. So I honestly for that guy, I would say that the bartender. I would say I just never seen him in anything else. His name is it's over here on here. I got it. You got it?
Yeah. Well, what's his name though? In the movie.
Oh fuck. Doesn't really. It just says bartender.
Is it Ullman? Is that him? Who's Ullman? Is that the manager of the hotel? I think that's the manager of the hotel.
Where the fuck is the
Joe Lloyd? There we go. Joe Turkel.
There.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. He was in Blade Runner apparently.
Blade Runner?
Yeah. And in an episode of Boy Meets World as a janitor.
I watched Boy Meets World.
So did I. There we go.
We got something in common. Yeah. We got something in common there. We watched the same kind of
course. Come on,
TV show.
Boy Meets World. Come on now.
Yeah. I know.
Classic.
Hey, look, I got 2 screens going and I'm still being filmed. That's cool, man. I learned how to do that now too, guys. Look at that. You're moving on up. I got a mouse too.
The bear suit was a metaphor for film critics blowing Kubrick. Now that's a good answer. I like that one.
Max, sometimes, you can make a good point.
There you go.
The rest of the time, nothing.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, it is just like hollow in there.
And is that it? Is that all the categories?
Yeah, clutch.
I think that's it. I think that's it, right?
On the movie, yeah, I've been kind of crossing them out. As I was going through, but then that's another thing. Sorry, I wanted to go back to that unanswerable questions. I don't know how that fucking timeline works because I wrote down the days, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ending part really screwed me up because it went from one day to the 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. and then it just kept going from there. And then you didn't know what day of the week it was. It didn't jump around, but you know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to see what the time period was, how long it took for him to snap.
I really like the job interviewers. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, Jay. I agree, but yeah, sorry, I just threw up this comment. I thought they were really good too. The manager of the hotel, I think those two guys, the two guys that met him.
I think the guy that one of the managers or one of the guys
I've seen him
was
in
the
something.
Bartender.
No,
not the bartender. Was Mr. Grady at the same time?
No, I don't think so.
He was another role in the film. I'm pretty sure.
So this Ullman guy, Barry Nelson, that's the guy I think who's the manager of the hotel. I think, right?
Yeah, there was a guy. I thought there was a guy that played two roles here. That's what I thought.
It's possible. It's possible, but
not two roles, maybe not two people, but two actual.
All the ones I'm looking at, although I'm not looking at the full cast, everything I'm looking at here just says one role.
Yeah. So maybe I've got the full cast here, but I'm just trying to see what it says.
I also like those guys though. They were pretty good. Those guys.
Yeah, no. So I don't see it. I thought he was the same guy as the guy in the beginning.
Everything I said was 100% factual. Yeah, okay.
Who that, Max?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Please.
Have you guys seen the 1997 miniseries? Apparently, it's a better adaptation of the book. Now, when I was looking up some stuff about this, yeah, he brought up a good point here. When I was looking up some information about this film, about like the making of and this kind of stuff prior to recording this episode today, Arv, I did come across that there was a mini series that it was a closer adaptation to the book, and it was actually, I guess Stephen King actually likes that one, but I had no clue it existed. Yeah,
what's it called?
It's from like 97. It's a mini series. I guess it was probably one of Stephen King's. Maybe it was a straight to TV mini series. There are maybe have you ever seen it? Let us know, because apparently Stephen King likes that version of it. Which again, I know that they destroyed his baby, like in the sense that they took something that was a personal story somewhat to him and a successful book and destroyed it. Right?
It's still called The Shining. It is still called The Shining.
What's going on, Farhan?
Right?
Yeah, but it's a mini series adaptation. Like I think it was a
TV. I want to watch it.
Yeah, that's when I came across that information too, I wasn't aware of that, and that was that really also interested me in 97. Yeah, straight to TV. Yeah, he preferred it more than Kubrick's. Yep. Yeah, because it was a closer adaptation. Yeah, so I'll have to seek this out. I'll have to seek this out. Yeah, I actually just found that out today. Before.
I just found it out right now.
Yeah, so there you go. Thanks for that, Arv. I would like to see it for sure. So
yeah, you forgot we had an episode. We have episodes all the time, bro. We're always on.
We're always on, apparently.
We're always on. Fire. Come on, bro. Your phone should be off the hook, ringing, ding, 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 ding. All the little bell notices and stuff like that. But yeah, no, honestly, it's always a great movie, whether you want to rewatch it or you've watched it only the one time. I can't say anybody that hasn't liked that movie. I think Jack Nicholson played a great role. Not much. I mean,
yeah. In summary, guys, we got through all of our categories. We'll take in some of your comments for the next few minutes before we wrap up here. But other than that,
Kubrick faked his death.
Other than that, yeah, I think that about does it.
Max,
that about does it for our categories. Yeah. What we kind of had written down to discuss here in regards to the movie here today. A couple other quick facts I'll just bring up.
That's mine too, Max.
Here that I had written down though, that I when I was researching the film here a little bit. Yeah, this is the thing about Shelley Duvall. Shelley Duvall, who played Wendy Torrance in Stanley Kubrick's 1980 masterpiece, The Shining, was left suffering mental health problems after his bullying of her on set.
Yeah, that's from the Me Too movement.
And apparently, she appeared on the Dr. Phil show in 2016
to talk about it.
And was the first time fans had seen her in over a decade. She'd retired from acting in 2002 after years of failing to find work, but a stint as an executive producer in a couple of TV movies and her Bedtime Stories series. But in the long period since she was last seen in public, Shelley's mental health has deteriorated to the point where viewers were uncomfortable with the way she was being mentioned.
Oh wow, eh?
Yeah, so apparently that happened a few years ago, which I'd never known until looking it up. But I did hear she kind of went into obscurity because she stopped acting. But other than that, I didn't know about maybe any lasting effects of maybe the abuse she took at the hands of Kubrick that went way beyond the years of the film. I mean, I thought it was something, or at least maybe she still references it, or people ask her questions about it.
Yeah.
Who really knows, right? I mean, you can't. I don't know if you're going to attribute her whole mental illness if that's something she suffered from the whole Kubrick situation. But he definitely didn't help, from what I can hear. What I've heard, at least from stories we've heard, right, about him. So.
It looks like she did a lot of little kids movies after and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Nothing too scary anymore after that.
Which good movies are you guys looking for next year? There's so many things that have been put on hold from coming out now. I don't even know anymore, Farhan, to be honest with you. I was looking forward to a lot of things, but they've all been delayed release and put on hold and pushed back. So like I can't even I was really looking forward to that last Bond film, the Daniel Craig one that was supposed to come out. Like I really like the Daniel Craig James Bond films. That's the only thing that's really coming to mind right away. I was looking forward to Tenet, the last Christopher Nolan film, but I did actually see that in like that little small window of time when their theaters were still open here. I did see that. That was the only film of interest that I wanted to go see at that point in time. I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan. Fast and Frijoles 9. Yeah, Max. I'm also looking at that.
Yes, you are probably.
No Time to Die. Exactly. Yeah, that's the one. That's what it's called. I think that's the last Daniel Craig Bond film. So I'm really looking at that.
There's one called Bios that's coming out in 2021. That's another one. I
think
that's a new one with what's his face?
This Is Why I Respect Her. Shelley, Mian says, yeah, no, agreed.
Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, she's overcome a lot, if that is the case.
Well, and she does, like I said, she does a lot more.
I'm not here to bash her. No. I'm just, critiquing performance. This is part of the conversation. That's why I wanted to mention we were aware of that fact, and that's one of the bad things you hear about this film, right? But in terms of the work behind the scenes that went into it with people, right?
Yeah. No.
Oh, I'll have to check out The Mist. Oh, who's mentioning this? Oh, okay. I was saying I like Stand By Me, The Mist, The Green Mile, and 1408. Oh, the 1408. 1408 Stephen King one. That's really good. I like that one. That's with John Cusack. You've never seen that? Oh, you got to watch that. That's a good one.
I don't think I have.
You'll like it. John Cusack's in it. It's again, he goes to a haunted hotel room. Apparently, he has to survive the night. He's I think he.
Oh, he's a guest. Yeah,
yes,
yeah. I see.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one. Stand By Me is also a classic.
That's a classic.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen The Mist. I've heard good things about it.
Show. Am I not?
No, there's a film too, though.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know there was a TV.
I've seen The Green Mile. Of course, that's good.
Quick, yeah. There was a quick TV series that only did. I think they only did one season for it, man. But I don't know if that was still based. I think
the ending to the Mist film is unforgettable. Better ending than the short story. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Justice League Zack Snyder cut. Nah, fuck that, Max. I'm sorry, I can't go sign that one. No, I'm not. I don't really care for that, but okay. The TV show is horrible, apparently, of The Mist. Okay, there you go, Jay.
Yeah, you think so? I don't know. I thought I didn't know how much it was related. Maybe I'll have to check out the movie too. I maybe I'm mixing them both up, but I know I did see the one series, the one season of the Mist on TV. Mm-hmm. But it's like they said they said a bunch of stuff was crappy when it's only one season.
Right.
A lot of things are crappy when it's only one season, right?
The next Spider-Man movie and Venom movie coming out 2021. I'm definitely looking forward to the next Spider-Man. Venom, yeah, I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not as excited for it. Oh, yeah, he is. Our boy's in that one. Woody Harrelson. Yeah, he's Carnage. Yeah, that's true.
Watch that, man.
Carnage. Yeah, he's playing Carnage. That's cool, though.
He's a man. Woody Harrelson is.
Yeah, Max. I didn't like the original Justice League, so I'm not going to co-sign being looking forward. I am intrigued to what exactly you're going to be adding to the film with this new cut, but they've hyped it up for so long. I really could care less at this point, honestly.
They hyped what up? They had it hyped up.
The Justice League Zack Snyder cut, yeah, because apparently the one that hit the theaters wasn't his version, and they're adding all these extra things now to the film that weren't there originally, and they're trying to make it basically rework the film and use different stuff because apparently there was like another almost hour worth of footage that wasn't in the original, and the one that came out in theaters. There's a whole story behind it. I'm not going to get into it here, but it's not worth your time in my opinion.
Check out that mister.
Yeah. I'm going to take this moment right now to plug our battle this Friday, guys. Max, who's been up in the chat here tonight with his conspiracy theories and these other fun comments tonight. No, but we love the guy. He's actually going to be battling.
He's going down.
He is going down. He's going to be battling us this Friday, guys. We're doing the.
I didn't realize how much music I had, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot. we're doing the 3-way producer battle this Friday at 8 p.m. Guys, make sure to tune in here on the Late Night Chat Network YouTube channel. You know, even if you can't make the whole, like, you know, because these things usually go over just over 2 hours. If you can't make the thing the whole night, at least come through at least for part of the night. But we'd like you all to kind of come and for the whole duration and hear and vote for your favorite songs that you hear. It's going to be a good time. We're going to be possibly dressed up, you know, having some drinks, listening some good tunes. It's a 3-way producer battle. It's I have Pharrell, JT's got Timberland, and Max there in the chat. He has
dressed up as Justin Trudeau.
He's got Kanye West there. He's got Kanye West. We're doing the 3-way producer battle, so it's going to be all kinds of great music here coming at you.
That's it. It's coming for you, man.
Yeah, please swing by if you can. We'd appreciate it. You know, throw up some votes for us. Tell us what you're liking, what you're enjoying listening to here.
Yeah, or Max, whoever you want to.
Thanks, Julie. Glad to hear that.
It's going to be fun. There's so much different music. Right?
I make Nas count again. I asked if he was going to be there. He said he might, but not enough to confirm him being involved in the counting this time around. Dude. Yeah.
You haven't seen him in the last 2 episodes. Ever since his appearance, he's like, fuck it. I don't want to go on that show no more, man. That's what it was. We scared him away, bro.
Guy misses 1 week, and you're like, apparently he just didn't say nothing in the chat last time. He said he swung by, but we appreciate Arv coming by. Shout out to Brews with the Crew here. Arv from Brews with the Crew, Mr. Wesker here in the chat.
Yeah.
Check out their show, guys. We really appreciate when they stop by, and yeah, there you go. No, this doesn't even come out for me. Well, there you have it.
Yeah, I guess it's married life, eh, bro? I go what it is.
I'm gonna treat y'all like Kubrick treated Shelley Duvall this Friday. I'm sorry. That's good. That's funny.
Oh, Max, you're
gonna make me upset here.
I don't know if they'll be able to watch it. The price will be at work. Look at this guy. He's gonna do it.
Frog Ford. Hey man, you're welcome to come by. Any takers? If anybody here wants to count the votes and plans to be there on Friday, let me know. So Max doesn't whine when he loses and saying that we
it should be easier to count the votes this time with the 3-way. It should be easier. Your mom laughing too, man. That's hilarious.
That was good. It's going to be a good time Friday, guys. So come check us out that night. Like I said, have some drinks, maybe some costumes coming, and vote for your favorite songs. And it's not all going to be all rap music. It's not all hip hop that night, guys. There will be a good portion of hip hop, absolutely. But you might
not even hear any from me. Who knows?
Timberland and Pharrell, they've produced for a lot of different genres, a lot of different artists. So if you want to come see Max get beat by Holler Back Girl this Friday. Come vote for it. Come vote for the songs. Some Justin Timberlake. If you want to hear some of these types of tunes, definitely come check it out Friday.
Yeah, straight up.
I could probably do it. Laughing. Well, Julie, it's up to you. I don't want to put you on the spot. Yeah. Hey, we can count our own votes. How to use
Excel, too.
We can count our own votes.
She'll steal.
But Max, that was a very inappropriate joke you made about Shelley Duvall. That's not a funny subject.
Yeah, it's not. It's very touchy.
But I know that was more so you just trying to say how you're gonna beat us this Friday. So but we don't.
we don't take nice to threats on.
Yeah.
Right? So you're gonna get your ass beat this weekend. Yeah, I'm just fucking with you, bro.
Yeah, Mr. Wesker should count for you.
He's got 3 eyes, bro. He can do it. Look.
We're doing it at 8 this Friday. So
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Hey.
Gonna Uber me some Halloween treats Friday. Yeah,
Thank you.
You tell Jay over here. Jay doesn't get any for talking crap about you Ubering food to me. Apparently, he doesn't approve of this Ubering of food.
Yeah, I don't know, man. About this Uber stuff. I keep hearing they're taking 30%.
I appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in as always. This was a fun time. No, I made it very clear. I don't want to offend you with those with these Shelley Duvall comments they threw out here. This is these ridiculous things these guys are saying. I just control the chat. I don't make the comments. All right, Julie, if we can count on you, that'd be awesome. We really appreciate it. There you go. Oh, there you saying goodbye to you, Jason Toddler.
No, she's just
is that your name for you? Is that
fucking everything up? I'm gonna start calling her. I'm gonna start making up her name again.
Yeah. You should hit him up. Although he explained it, I guess the whole process.
It's just a formula, I guess. I don't know what he does. It's a nerdy thing.
I know. It really sucks that it fell on the weekend and that, we're in the state that we're in currently. But this will be fun. This will be fun on Friday. I really like JT's droll humor. Hey, look at that.
Right. That's right. That's what people like. It's like the New Age Howard Stern.
The New Age Howard Stern. Yeah, okay.
The bald one.
Nice try, buddy.
The bald one, at least. Well, you won't let me get anybody sitting on speakers or anything like that, man. Listen to my voice. I can, have everybody going. Sorry.
There's a little private part shout out right there if you've seen the movie. I'm not going to get into it. My mother is here, JT. Could you please stop?
She likes my humor, though. So she gets it.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, guys. I think with that being said, though, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for everybody that tuned in here tonight.
Yeah.
Make sure to please tune in this Friday. It's going to be a fun battle. We guarantee it. It'll be a good time, couple hours, that you can still go off and enjoy the rest of your evening afterwards, right? We start out at 8, should finish sometime after 10. So we hope that you guys could come through. Oh, thank you. I really do. I appreciate you saying that. She's awesome. But I still hope that she sends me that candy, or else I could be saying something else on Friday. You better send me that candy. He's not gonna dress up. He's gonna come here as a homeless guy. That's gonna be like, hey man, this is my costume this year.
I'm gonna get one of Nico's hats and say I'm Nico.
Thanks, Arf. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, man. I'll bring the pain. Yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, with that being said, thanks again for tuning in this Friday, 8 p.m. 3-way battle of the producers, battle of the bangers, episode 8. Actually, I believe. So that's awesome. So tune in then. We see you Friday, Rob. Thank you. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. Also, sorry, one more announcement before we wrap up. Rob just reminded me, Rob is actually going to be joining us as a guest on November's movie episode, Late Night at the Movies. We're going to be watching the film. Do you want to announce it there, Jay? Do you remember? The Wolf of Wall Street, everybody.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, a more recent film.
I was gonna say werewolf something, but I don't know why. But
hey, Joseph, yes. Thanks.
You're still here, Joseph. Don't worry. I type like you, bro. I type with 2 fingers, man. It's all good, bro.
So Wolf of Wall Street will be the film that with the Martin Scorsese classic, as far as I'm concerned, one of his newer films, anyways, that he came out with. Was it the one before The Irishman? It might have been. There may have been something in between those two that I can't recall. But it was definitely before Irishman. Yeah. But it was. I don't know if there was. I can't recall if there was something in between there.
Another Brad Pitt movie or some shit in between.
Maybe I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that is going to be the Werewolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street is going to be our episode, and Rob, our first guest, actually on Late Night at the Movies, will be joining us on November's episode. If there are any other takers here in the chat that want to join us as a guest on this show, I know some of you guys are really into movies, and we can tell from the interaction in the chat here. Please let us know if you're even new to the show. If you want to be on one of these movie episodes with us, please hit up me or JT if you know us, and let us know if you want to be a guest on these shows, because we wanted to kind of get a little bit of the hang of this format and talking about films in general before we brought anybody else on. So
yeah, exactly. And then it looks like, with all these comments that have been going on, everybody's loving it. We'll see how much you guys will say this on screen.
Yeah, so it'll be
it's
good.
It's different when it's in the chat.
All right, Julie, we'll talk.
Joseph says, that bear scene is in the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I told you. He was coming with that answer.
Well, there you go. There's our answer.
About 45 minutes late.
He must have. We love you, bro. He must have pulled out the book, and
I think we're on a lag over at his place. I think we're on I think we're really slow. At his end.
Okay, so with that being said, though, we'll wrap it up here tonight, guys. Have a good evening, and we'll see you guys Friday. Thank you for tuning in.